ABC Sports and the United States Golf Association proudly present the final round of the 89th U.S. Open Golf Championship. There is a look from overhead, looking at the old clubhouse of Oak Hill in Rochester. It's after 2 in the afternoon Eastern Time. The countdown has begun in the final round. So welcome to Rochester and to Oak Hill, to a city and to a golf course that have been drenched with rain all this week but have somehow endured, as have the golfers playing in this 1989 U.S. Open Championship. The course has survived the elements and it's resisted the challenge of all but a very few so far. As we begin the final chapter of this year's championship, the skies are, well, they're trying to clear, but we're also gun-shy this week that our fingers are crossed. There is a broad look at the golf course. Thousands gathered out there on the fairways. Many still. Here comes Tom Kite. Going from the practice area to the first tee. Continuing that walk toward destiny. Golf crowds may be the nicest, the politest of all. They're for every individual when he has his chance. And this may be Tom's day. Well, there he goes. I'm Jim McKay, and again today we'll be following the leaders from the first tee until the final putt. Now, yesterday that took 6.5 hours of airtime. We sincerely hope it won't take that long today. But the story we'll be telling is a dramatic one. Tom Kite, nearing his 40th birthday, playing in his 18th Open. He's the year's leading money winner, third leading money winner of all time, trailing only Tom Watson and Jack Nicklaus. But he's never won a major championship. Now, just behind him as he begins are Scott Simpson, remember, champion of 1987, and Curtis Strange, last year's winner. Add to them former champion Larry Nelson, Jumbo Ozaki of Japan, and the struggling young pro J. Don Blake, and you have the makings of high sporting drama. Always ready to chronicle such doings with us is Peter Alliss, our colleague from overseas. Good to see you, Peter, and here we go again.
Yes, and you know there have been so many weird and wonderful things happen here at Oak Hill this week. So many records have been set that anything is possible. Of course, we mustn't forget the great rounds that have been played in the past. Who can forget the 63 of Johnny Miller when he won the championship, roaring up from way down the field. We saw the great demise of Arnold Palmer and the emergence of Billy Casper in San Francisco when seemingly Palmer couldn't lose. So to say that it's a foregone conclusion would be very foolish, but I think if you were a hard-nosed bookmaker, you'd take the first 4 names on the leaderboard as play started today and say the winner should, and I repeat should, come from one of those. But who knows? We might have a golfing Rocky story to tell. And wouldn't that be rather fun? And why not? It's happened before, could happen again.
And already there is the story of your man Ian Woosnam of Wales, who has birdied the first 2 holes, but more about that in a couple of minutes. Right now, we again today have the services of a group of expert commentators out on the course following people like Curtis Strange. And there he is in third place as we begin the final round, 3 strokes behind Tom Kite.
Get up.
Get up, he said. A little short, but on the putting surface. That's the first order of business on the first hole. Now here is Ian Woosnam on the 4th hole, par 5, and this is his 3rd shot. He's 1 under par for the championship now. Birdied 2 of the first 3 holes. There he is, safely on again. Now let's move back down the golf course from the 4th to the 1st hole and down that fairway to the first tee.
Final pairing of the United States Open Championship.
That's Ron Reed of the
referee
USGA.
is Mr. Bill Battle, President of the United States Golf Association from Ivy, Virginia. The observer is Judy Bell of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Ms. Bell is a member of the USGA Executive Committee. The special observer is Tim Taylor Vice Chairman of the Championship Committee of the Royal Ancient Golf Club, St. Andrews, Scotland.
Judy Bell's the first woman ever to be a member of the USGA Executive Committee.
The players are Scott Simpson of Makaha Valley, Hawaii. And Tom Kite of Austin, Texas. Mr. Simpson has the honor. Play away, please.
Well, you can feel the butterflies up here at this moment, Peter.
Certainly can. It was that walk onto the tee was like a champion coming into the boxing ring.
Mm-hmm.
Very important to get away to a smooth start. You know, nice drive down the fairway, hit your second shot onto the green, and just start slowly and smoothly. Wait for the birdies to come.
Looks like he was checking the sky there or something.
Oh, good hit, Scott.
That's what he wants, huh?
Tom Kite.
The leader, Kite.
Keep it slow.
Oh, yeah, Tom.
Oh, it's going to the left rough. Not quite what he wanted to start off this final round of play.
Good, Tom. You do the same. Thank you.
Bill Battle, president of the USGA, wishing him luck. Again today we have the services of a quartet of very expert commentators, all of them fine golfers in their own right. Let's begin with Ed Sneed.
I'm going to be with the twosome of Mark McCumber and Tom Pernice. Now, we know Mark McCumber is an established player. He hits his tee shots and his iron shots in a perfect mold for this golf course, left to right. If Tom Pernice plays a great round today, this could be the greatest round of his life. He has a chance to win the United States Open. Now let's hear from Judy Rankin.
I'll be on the course today with J. Don Blake and Masashi Ozaka, better known to most of us as Jumbo. Both of these players have survived the pressures of the Open very well, and it's an ideal playing condition day, so anything could happen. And now may I say to my own father and to all the daddies that I work with here at ABC, a very happy Father's Day. Now, Jerry Pate.
Thank you, Judy. I'll be with a group of Larry Nelson and Curtis Strange. Larry Nelson has 3 major championships to his credit, including the 1983 U.S. Open. Curtis Strange, the defending U.S. Open champion. These two players are playing well, and they should be right on the heels of Tom Kite, today's leader. Now let's go over to Bob Rosberg.
Tom Kite trying to win the crowning jewel to cap a real great golf career. And Scott Simpson trying to become a multiple winner of the USGA Championship, something not too many people have done. They both have similar games, very steady. I look for them to play very well. I think somebody will have to come and get them. Now let's go back to Jim McKay.
Okay, Rossi. Now, on tape, Ian Woosnam, birdie attempt at the 4th hole. Slid by just a bit there. Woozy, as they call him, claims to be 5 feet 4 and a half inches tall.
Certainly. Very important, that half inch.
Jumbo Ozaki for a birdie at the 2nd hole. And he's got it. Could be quite a day. That puts him 2 under for the championship, tied for 3rd with Curtis Strange.
Just imagine the excitement in Japan, which is a golf-mad nation.
Coming to them live in the middle of the night right now. There's the way they stand. Kite by 1 over Simpson. By 3 now over Strange and Ozaki. By 4 over Larry Nelson, the former champion, Woosnam of Wales, and J. Don Blake. Now here are the others. Any of these could still win it. Macomber or Bernice. Paul Azinger in there. Chip Beck. Woozy for the par now.
Crucial putt. So early in the round, having made such a good start.
Solid, rock solid. One of the longest hitters you'll see in the game, despite his diminutive size. Amazing, really. Now let's go back to the first hole. Let's go back, in fact, to the leader, Tom Kite, in that left rough.
Not exactly the kind of a start you'd like to get off to, but Tom does not have that bad a lie. It's not a great lie, but for this rough, it's not too bad. He's got 180 yards off a slightly downhill lie. I would think he'd try to get a 5-iron on the ball. Ooh, that's going to have to get up. Barely cleared the water. The downhill lie really hurt that shot. It made it a very difficult one.
Leader still has quite a ways to go in his third shot.
Yes, and of course from that side of the fairway with the flag on the left-hand side of the green, it was just the spot he didn't want to be. So we could have a big change here.
Scott Simpson's about 165 yards, right in the middle of the fairway. Beautiful lie, pin cut back left.
So Scott Simpson, hole high. He's become a U.S. Open specialist. He hasn't won that many tournaments on tour. In fact, he has not been having a great year this year, although he did win 1 tournament. But always plays well in the U.S. Open. There's how they stand. Kite and Simpson, Strange, Ozaki, Nelson, Woosnam, and Blake. Crowds still pouring in on these shuttle buses that take them from the parking lots. Season ticket, as they call it, meaning for, all 4 rounds, $150. In 1922, daily ticket prices were $1. A ticket for the week cost $5. We're back again at the U.S. Open. Look at Oak Hill and the 50,000 trees grow here. And this course was built in the 1920s. There were very few trees. Now, your eyes do not deceive you. You saw Tom Kite in the rough. Now you see his ball on the fairway, and he's still hitting the same shot, his third shot. We'll get an explanation of that in a moment. This is on tape. There's no penalty involved here. His third shot coming up shorter. It might have been right there. On the second fairway, Larry Nelson. Nelson, 1 under par, 4 shots behind Kite, at least at the moment. Twice PGA champion, once U.S. Open champion.
Get out! Get in the hole!
We're going to have some of that stuff today, eh?
Yeah, well, he's a very cool customer. It's one of those very quiet players who can easily be underrated, rather like this man. Just goes along steadily. He's hit a beautiful drive down the first. Super second, dead weight. Now he's got this very holeable putt for birdie.
So we don't keep you hanging too long. What Tom Kite got was a free drop from casual water. From the rough to the fairway, yes. Rules of golf don't recognize any such thing as rough and fairway, basically.
Come on, man.
They're much faster today, I think, than yesterday. They're dribbling past there.
Well, that ball looked as if it was barely going to reach. He's gone a yard past.
Well, just to see how fast these greens can be, this is what we did early in the week. All you have to do is blow on the ball. Exactly. That's what our man did. And look at it on the first green. Same one Simpson's on right now. It just went and went and went. They were going 11 feet on the stimp meter, that device that measures the speed of the greens at that time. Today they're probably somewhere around 10.5, maybe even 11. Now Kite. having gotten that free drop. Bit of a break.
Played a good third, though. He was perhaps a little unlucky not to get one extra bounce out of that. He could have been at least another 4 or 5 feet nearer, but he's got a putt for a par. Gets it.
In the heart of the hole. A fighting par for the leader, Tom Kite, and that sets the scene for his round, perhaps. Curtis Strange for a birdie at the second hole.
This putt from about 30 feet downhill, big breaker from left to right. Extremely fast. That was a wonderful putt from there. That was not a very makeable putt.
Scott Simpson now. His par. How important do you think that first hole is, Peter?
Oh, very important. I think Tom Kite at this moment must feel as if he started with an eagle.
Ozaki at the third hole. He's within 3 strokes of the lead. Jumbo started life as a promising baseball pitcher, played minor league ball in Japan. A pitcher, he couldn't find the plate, so he changed professions. Larry Nelson.
This putt's only about 4.5 feet, but very, very fast coming downhill. Should not break a lot. It's just a matter of getting started on line and not being too firm with it.
Look at them dribble by. Huh?
Well, he just came up out of the stroke. He didn't stay down with it, and he just pushed it out to the right there, Jim. There are no gimmies out here today.
That's Jerry Pate walking the course with this group. All right. That's the par, still 1 under. This is the second hole.
Goes through the trees, winds through. You see quite a number of bunkers on this hole. The breather, it's well, many think it's an easy hole, but they've added 20 yards to the length of it over the last 20 years. You've got to be very accurate. His first job to get on the fairway.
That ball is quite a bit to the left. In the left-hand rough.
Yep.
And pretty short. Very difficult second from there.
Okay. A little shaking on the part of the challenger, Scott Simpson.
Well, these par 4s are playing quite long, and the par of 70 makes it very tough. You know, usually pars around about 72. 70 makes it a tough course.
That's down the left center. Should be perfect.
The one, Tom.
Okay.
This is
At the
it.
moment, the advantage is over to the leader, Kite. Now Ian Woosnam. Birdie attempt on the 5th green. 2 under for the day.
Good putt.
Larry Nelson on the 3rd tee.
Larry hitting a 2-iron right at the flag from 217 yards. That's a beautiful looking golf shot there.
The first par 3 on this golf course. Marietta, Georgia, the home of Larry Nelson, a man who, talk about casual, kicking a broken tee away. He didn't learn to play the game until he was 21.
Curtis also playing a 2-iron shot here. This hole is guarded by some big bunkers on the right-hand side, and the pin is probably in the easiest position it's been all week. It's in the back center of the green, slightly towards the left side. Curtis and Larry both have really been striking the ball well this week, and I think you're going to see some wonderful iron shots out of these players this week. Curtis playing the ball from left to right, cutting it in. If it just takes a bounce, it'll be in good shape. Didn't quite get it up.
No.
Just in the collar.
Okay, so Curtis Strange needing a birdie or two to get back into the thick of this thing, just off the green. That's the way they stand right now. 3 American touring pros, then the Japanese, the Welshman closing in. There is the Tudor-style clubhouse, put up in the mid-1920s. If you'd like to get in, it costs you $20,000 initiation, monthly dues $250, but don't overnight it. It's a 3-year waiting list. Back again at the Open Championship, Tom Kite. Second hole.
That was from 160 yards with a 7-iron.
Come down.
Down.
That's some shot, Jim.
Fine shot.
Some shot.
Now he begins to loosen up, begins to relax a little. He did look tense on the first hole.
He did, yeah.
Curtis Strange from off the 3rd green.
Little 8-iron shot here. Just a little bump and run. Needs to get the ball up to the hole.
Up to and...
Beautifully done.
Well, he had it, eh? Tap in for the par to remain at 2 under for the championship. Now here with Scott Simpson. Behind him, the gentleman in the golf cap squatting down there is Herbert Warren Wynn, one of the fine golfing journalists of any time. So his first U.S. Open in 1936 when Tony Manero won at Baltusrol. Herb was a Yale student then. Here's Simpson's shot.
Cut ball.
He thought that ball was going to fly a little, Peter. He took an 8-iron from the same distance that Tom was, and it didn't fly at all. It really came out beautifully, just like hitting it off the fairway.
Okay, well, now we're up again with Larry Nelson on the 3rd green.
This putt from about 15 feet should break a little bit from his right to his left. It's a very makeable putt. Uphill, he'll be able to give it an aggressive roll. After having the advantage of seeing Curtis's ball break left, he should be able to read this line.
Hit it.
Oh, yeah? Good way.
Well, now, that did look very good when it was about 3 or 4 feet short.
Didn't it?
Just turned away. He's a very cool customer. It'll be very interesting to see how Kite, Simpson, Strange and Nelson play this afternoon because they're all so experienced.
And on they walk. Final round of the U.S. Open. Tape, Jumbo Ozaki. On the 4th hole, 3rd shot, par 5. That's 3 shots off the lead. But
Unlucky.
Ooh.
That is unlucky. That's something you see you can't legislate for. That ball might have taken 1 bounce forward and finished virtually right by the hole side. Instead, he may struggle to get down in 2. But Simpson now has found the little gap between the collar of rough, so he's got a fairly straightforward little chip.
Get up there. All right.
Okay.
Give it enough, Tom. Give it enough.
Give it enough time. Now, looking from the Goodyear blimp overhead. See the gallery. Of course, the gallery is in many places. The biggest crowd with the final pair, but others with their favorites. Many of them in the grandstand. Various places on the course. The grandstands were full this morning at 18 when I arrived just before 10 o'clock. They've had a long wait, but it'll be worth it to them. And they can say, I was there at Oak Hill when Tom Kite or whoever won the Open.
See, he's been working with Dr. Robert Rotella of the University of Virginia, a sports psychologist, and it's always interesting to see the number of sporting personalities that use sports psychologists. It's something that's come up over the last few years.
What do you think about all
Well, I really don't know. I suppose Nelson and Hogan and Snead managed without, but then they probably managed years before that without central heating and air conditioning.
Where's the break?
Misread that one, didn't he? After that beautiful second, he didn't even frighten the hole with that one.
On the fourth green now, Ozaki. Long birdie attempt.
Not bad.
No, not bad at all. Now for the par, Tom Kite. I don't know what the Japanese word was that Ozaki said, but I know what the American word for it is.
Oh, golly?
Something like that. That's close.
Ah, now here's a tricky one.
I should say. Oh, beautifully done.
Yeah, he played that beautifully and was through the sixth green.
That was the hole that yielded 4 holes in one within an hour and 50 minutes on Friday. I don't think it'll happen today. Simpson. He's down. Now they're moving on to the third hole.
211 yards. Again through the trees. Trees are such a great feature of this fine course. 28, I didn't know there were 28 different species of oak trees. But they're all here and many other beautiful specimens. It really is a delight to just walk around and look at Mother Nature. There's the green, well protected. This is the fifth green with the little stream running in front and around the side.
Have our first look at Mark McCumber, who's 1 under for this championship, 4 strokes out of the lead, and tied for 5th place.
I'm not gonna look down.
McCumber 1 under for the day.
Let me get where. Let me have a club out.
One of the few golfers these days on the tour that did not play college golf.
He had some problems here yesterday. Do you remember? He got a wonderful 5 at the end of the day. But he's in a muddy patch there where that's casual
Where do we
water.
go with them, right? Well, there's the left cross. Probably right in here. Well, see, may have to go that way. This one's pretty good right there.
It's casual water again.
If I go there, my nearest is right here. Nearest is going to be right
Frank
there.
Hannigan?
Yeah, well, he's got casual water, which for non-golf fans is a temporary accumulation of water. He doesn't have to play if his ball
I'll tell you what, I'm
is
going
in
to make it
casual
easy for
water,
everybody else to play it
or
right
if his
there.
stance is in casual water. Now what they're trying to do is determine what's the nearest point that avoids the condition of casual water. So there's a little measuring around and figuring out, because he wants to drop in the fairway.
Sure, again, it could be in the fairway, could be in the rough. In Tom Kite's case, he fortunately was able to drop in the fairway. Woosnam made his par at 6. Here's Simpson at 3.
As Jerry Pate said earlier, this is an easy pin placement. Right in the middle of the green. Don't have to fool with the bunkers. 215 yards.
Out on the left. You see exactly where that is, Rossi, or not?
I believe it's in the rough over the bunker. I can't tell exactly.
Almost to the
where it is.
gallery, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Tom Kite.
Tom Kite has hit some wonderful long irons. He's played the par 3s very well here. Probably a 2-iron. Can't let up on any kind of an iron here because it's a long hole today. Beautiful looking golf shot.
All right, Tommy.
He's there. Well, his dad's watching back home in Austin, Texas today on this Father's Day. Roger Twibell spoke to him a little while ago.
Tom, when you're on the course, you're aware that this is the U.S. Open. You think about it?
Well, I think there are times that you think about it being the Open. If you're fortunate, those times come in very infrequently during the round. But there's no question when you're out there, especially when you get in contention, you start thinking, well, this is the Open, and it means a little bit more. But the quicker you can get away with that notion and get down to business and start doing the things that you have to take care of business, those are the things that are going to help you. The longer you let the thoughts hang in there that this is the U.S. Open, the longer you're distracting yourself from getting down to doing the things that will enable you to play well.
Nonetheless, this is the U.S. Open.
Yeah, it is, and Mark McCumber decided to play the ball where it was lying, so nobody had to make any great decisions. This is the 5th hole. Oh, good shot.
Great shot.
Yeah, it was a cracking shot over the water. You see, that's no easy pin position today, just over the stream.
Curtis Strange at the 4th.
I like that, yep.
Curtis with 172 yards, playing slightly downwind with a 6-iron. This pin tucked, very tough position on the right-hand side of the green over a big bunker. He laid his second shot out of the bunker, off the tee. He drove it into the bunker, and he laid his second shot into the fairway here in good position. This hole 574, you do not reach this hole in 2. Players all have to lay up here on their second shot.
Stay right there.
He's got it going just to the right of the flag. If it carries that bunker, it'll be a good shot.
Well, it sure did. Larry Nelson will be next. Groups of 2 today, not the 3 they had to resort to yesterday for the first time in Open history because of the monsoon that swept here Friday night and early Saturday morning.
Yeah.
2 scores under 70 so far. Jim, Seve Ballesteros and Steve Elkington, and third one's just come in, Robert Wren. So what these tail enders here wouldn't give for a round under 70 today.
That's right.
Larry Nelson from 90 yards with a sand wedge. He struck it nicely. It's just to the left of the hole if it's up long enough.
Come on.
Yes, indeed. Fine shot by Larry Nelson. Thoughtful man. Very religious man. Look at the leaderboard. Kite by 1 over Simpson, by 3 over Strange and Ozaki, by 4 over Larry Nelson, Woosnam, and Mark McCumber. Curtis Strange, birdie attempt at the 4th hole.
This putt from about 15 feet, right to left breaker. Going to be downhill. He just wants to start it out about 2 balls to the right of the hole and just feed it into the hole. Just let the slope take the ball down towards the cup.
All right, okay. Now Simpson, Scott Simpson in trouble, remember. Rossi, where is he in that crowd that we see?
Well, the ball trickled down in where the gallery had been walking. Well to the left.
Okay.
That was a good shot, Jim.
Okay. On the back of the green. Live, Tom Kite's putt on this hole, the same hole, and he's done it. Now.
Well, that was really something, Jim. And if you were looking for omens, you would say he's waited long enough. He's paid his dues. It's his 18th attempt, 18 holes on a golf course. If you're looking for silly signs, it could well be his turn. If he can just keep the ball in play and not make any silly mistakes, it's there, but he still has to win it.
Nelson on 4. No. Had a good opportunity there for the birdie. Kite now leading by 2 over Simpson, but Simpson needs this for a par. lead will go to 3. That's how quickly it happens.
This is a very fast putt coming down the hill. He's just going to have to barely start it.
It wants Scott. Come on, get there.
Yep.
Great try.
Tom Kite suddenly has a 3-stroke lead. On the first hole, you saw U.S. Open written all over his face. You could see it. You could see in the result of his tee shot. But he scrambled, made that par. And now it's kind of beginning to come to him.
Which way are we going?
A long way to go. Okay, a bogey for Scott Simpson. He'll drop to 3 under for the championship. Now, meanwhile, back on the 5th green, we had this birdie attempt by Mark McCumber. Now trailing by 5. He probably doesn't know it yet, but he is. Tom Pernice putting his par putt in at the 5th hole. Young golfer from Kansas City and UCLA. Playing extremely well here. He's 1 under. Let's have a look, Peter, at J. Don Blake, the pride of St. George, Utah, who's been playing his heart out this week.
He's coming from the left rough, a pretty bad lie and some longish rough. Shot at about 163 or 64 yards with a 7-iron. Ball's got to hurry.
Oh, dear. There you see the ever telltale ripples.
Had a lie where it was very difficult for him to put the club solidly on the ball. A lot of grass up behind the ball.
Another 5 or 6 yards, though, you see. But that's the game of golf. It was dead on line. Another, let's say, 5 or 6 yards, and it might have gone very close. Here's Jumbo.
Yep.
From almost the identical place with a poor lie also. Actually a little muddier area than J. Don was in. 7-iron. Same kind of shot, I'm afraid.
Much shorter than the other.
And so they're going to almost certainly drop strokes here.
Yep, Ozaki, 2 under. 4 shots out already.
See the importance of keeping your drive on the fairway. Always remember Sam Snead saying several years ago, if he had to start all over again, he'd practice driving. Because if you can drive, because that's the most difficult club, if you become a good driver, and he'd practice 70 or 80 yards from the flag. That's all. Here's Woosen.
We'll have that for a par then. We're going to return, of course, with more golf action from the 89th United States Open Championship. We'll do that after this message and a word from our ABC station. On to the 6th tee, par 3, Tom Pernice.
Didn't trust it at all, huh?
Well, Pernice is 1 under for the day, but that's going to make it difficult to remain that way. And 1 under for the championship. A big part of the story so far was the drop gotten by Tom Kite on the first hole. He had put his second shot in the left rough behind him there. It was casual water, however, and going to the nearest point of relief, he was able to drop it in the fairway. Perfectly legitimate, Frank Hannigan, right? Within the rules of golf.
Absolutely.
Am I correct that the rules don't really recognize the difference between the rough and the fairway? It's just through the green, right? Ozaki for a bogey. Remember, he put his ball in the water here. So it'll be a double bogey 6 for Ozaki, which will drop him to even par for the championship, and 1 over on today's round. That's tough.
All caused, you see, by missing the fairway, finding a a heavy lie in the rough and not being able to make your target in two.
So you can say drive for show and putt for dough all you want, but get that tee shot in the middle. Huh?
That's right. There is some truth in that, but not totally.
J. Don Blake needing this for the double bogey 6. 2 over par in this hole.
Well done.
That's what we're told, that was a double bogey. So that would drop him to 1 over for the championship. 2 over for the day. The 4th hole.
Yeah, this is 570. It's not often you get par 5s these days that the mighty hitters can't reach in 2. Usually they humble them with drives and 3 irons. But these are real par 5s here at Oak Hill. You can see the bend in the fairway and the big bunker up by the green. Double trouble.
Here's how it's played this week in this championship. Second easiest hole in the golf course. 6 has been the easiest with 4 holes in 1, I should think so. More birdies, as you see, than bogeys here. Pin placement today.
Nice to see 3 shotters though, par 5s. I mean, it's otherwise we'll end up having golf courses 9,000 yards long in years to come.
And this is a true par 5. You won't get home here in 2. Very unlikely, at any rate.
Scott's 135 yards. Hit kind of a weak drive, but he laid up, both players, in fact, laid up with irons with their second shots. Got the right-hand bunker to contend with, but it shouldn't give him any problem.
No, sorry, sir. It won't come on back.
Still a good shot.
Yep.
Tom Kite is about 115 yards.
First a look, Rossi, at Larry Nelson here on the 5th hole.
That's a 6-iron from 160. Right at the flag.
I should say it was right at it. Now, Rossi, let's go back to Tom Kite.
He's one of the best from this distance.
There's one more bounce would have helped.
Up the golf course to the 5th fairway, and Curtis Strange now 4 strokes behind.
Curtis with a 7-iron from 153, playing into the wind, slightly right to left.
Much wind out there?
Starting to pick up, Jim. That ball is hanging out to the right, needs to draw in some. It's a good shot, though, safe shot. There's a lot of trouble left of the flag here.
You can see the flag moving with the wind there. It is beginning to pick up. So there we are, and time now to hand you over to the man who guides you all along ABC's golfing trail through the year, our colleague Jack Whitaker.
Thank you very much, Jim and Peter. David, the last round of the U.S. Open, like any major tournament, is exciting. It really gets exciting on the back 9, but unless these fellows start getting a little more in touch with Tom Kite, it may be a nice walk home for him.
Well, I think it was Rossi that said in the opening of the show they're going to have to come get him because he's a very, very cool customer and with the best chance he's ever had to win one of the 18 Opens that he's played in. Trying to figure out, now, why are these guys in front? When you look at Scott Simpson, Curtis Strange, Larry Nelson, Tom Kite, Jack, I think it's because they're more swingers and sweepers when the conditions this week all being wet. In other words, hitters who take more speed through the ball, take maybe a bigger divot, are not as apt to control the ball as much. And I think these guys have an advantage under wet conditions.
60 and Osaki. Comes from a great golfing family in Japan, David. They're like the Ternisa brothers used to be here in the United States. 3 of them play, and they all make a lot of money.
Jumbo and Jetty won 11 million yen last year. I don't know what that computes to.
Well, that's a 6-iron from 175 yards. It started left.
Saki, coming back from a double bogey in the last hole, has to gather himself together and get back in touch. Scott Simpson at 4 for birdie.
Good speed there for the 87 Open champion, and this year won the Atlanta tournament. Son of a very good senior golfer, amateur senior. He's won a lot in Japan, as a matter of fact. He's played over there for a number of years and won 3 or 4 tournaments in Japan.
While we wait for the leader, let's see Larry Nelson's attempt for birdie. 5.
From about 20 feet, slightly uphill, left to right breaker.
Never was close. Jerry just started it right away.
Raymond Floyd at the 18th. Finishing up.
Birdied a few 18 holes in his time. Captain of this year's Ryder Cup, and there's a lot of excitement over here with our guys about making the team and going over to see Peter's guys.
Nicklaus for birdie at 16. Hello.
Great start, 67 the first day, and then just 2 sort of indifferent rounds there on Friday and Saturday.
Now back at 4, the leader for another birdie. At the 5th, Curtis Strange for birdie.
From about 15 feet, downhill, left to right breaker. Curtis really needs to make one at this point to get something going.
This one's really slick, though.
He's just
one you've got to just guard against being too aggressive. Perfect speed.
Just didn't turn. He hit a perfect putt.
Well, he's talking to it too, Jerry.
So as we look down on this final day of the United States Open Championship for 1989, Tom Kite tapping in for a par at the 4th hole has a 3-shot lead over Scott Simpson.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Watson.
Most golfers are familiar with this book, The Rules of Golf. And most golfers know by now that the rules are written by the United States Golf Association in cooperation with the Royal and Ancient Golf Club of St. Andrews, Scotland. But not as many people are aware of this book, The Decisions on the Rules of Golf. The rules of golf aren't engraved in granite. They are revised every 4 years, but they are constantly being reviewed, and joint decisions are issued every year by the USGA and R&A. Decisions are made on actual rule situations, so this book has all the answers. The rules provide many privileges, so knowing them can save you strokes. If you'd like to learn more about the rules and the decisions, contact the USGA at Golf House in Far Hills, New Jersey.
The preceding message was brought to you by the United States Golf Association, which says playing by the rules makes golf more fun.
While we were away, things changed again. The man in control at the moment. Fifth hole tee shot.
Jack, that's why they call this hole double trouble. You've got to hit a straight drive because, as you just saw, that creek is in play. To look at the hole, it's coming out of one of the many groups of oak trees, and Tom's ball, as you see, just where the fairway starts there to the right is where he put it, just to the right. Now, we saw all the players a minute ago, Ozaki and J. Don Blake in the left rough put it in the water, winds around in front of the green. So water comes into play twice. If I had to put it in the water, I think I'd rather drive in the water first. Now, he can still make a 5 after his drop.
Now Scott Simpson.
That's a wonderful drive after watching Tom's, because usually you'll see a player make sure that they stay left.
Now at the historic par 3 6th hole, and Curtis Strange.
Jack, this hole playing 173 yards into a little breeze now. Curtis wisely taking a 5-iron out after seeing Larry Nelson hit first and hit a 6-iron and coming up short of the flag. He made a good looking swing, and that ball is covering the flag. Beautiful shot there.
Well, we spoke about patience yesterday, and this man certainly has it. There may be a big change here. Jerry Pate, Nick Price, Doug Weaver, and Mark Weeby all had holes in one before 10:15 in the morning here the other day. Now Larry Nelson hit his tee shot here before Curtis. This is on tape.
Get out.
And coming back down a little bit. Now, Tom Kite and Bob Rossberg.
Jack, I don't think that Tom, after he drops this ball, has any chance of putting it on the green. He's going to have to play about a 40, 50-yard slice if he decides to take a shot at the green. And trying to slice it out of the rough, and the wind is coming out of the right. I think Tom is a little too smart. That's not going to be. I don't think you'll see him shooting at the green. I think you'll see him laying up short of the water.
Well, he went in quite short in that water then, Bob.
Well, he's got a shot of about 175 yards, I would say.
I don't need anything.
But the wind is really a factor here, David. It is blowing, as Jerry said, it's picked up and it's blowing out of the right. And to try and curve it against that wind out of the rough, you're looking at 7 if you hit it in the water again.
Yeah.
Well, if he lays it up the way he pitches the ball, he can still make 5.
Yeah.
All right, Curtis very close up ahead, and Tom Kite now in a bit of trouble here.
He did drive it in the lateral hazard, and he actually looked over on the other side of the hazard to see if he had any kind of a shot from over there, but there are trees over there also. It's looking like he wants to go at it, but I think that something will prevail in the end that tells him not to.
Well, this is what? Golf course management here.
Well, he's a very disciplined player, and as Bob points out, he's one of the fine wedge players on tour. Saw evidence of that at the very first hole. And it's still a long way to go, and even if he did make 6, unless Scott Simpson were to make a birdie, he'd still have a 1-shot lead.
Slow.
The idea here is to lay up to your strength.
Be quiet. Quiet, please.
Pretty sure he's laying up.
Sir, please. I'm getting ready to go. Thank you.
No doubt about it, Bob.
Laid up very short, didn't take any gamble at all.
You'd rather have a full shot in there, though, I think, than too close to that hazard.
Larry Nelson at 6. Long, long putt.
That was a very, very difficult putt from about 50 feet, Jack. Of course, he didn't get within about 6 feet of the hole.
Now Scott Simpson.
Scott's about 165 yards, and he has to cut it up against the wind. He can't bring it from right to left because of the trees.
Earlier about sweepers or swingers, they don't spin the ball as much as, say, like Woosnam, who's more of a hitter. More speed through the hitting area.
Oh, be right.
Over to the left. Now Curtis for a birdie.
From about 8 feet, downhill, right to left breaker. Very fast.
Now Kite at the 5th.
Tom has a shot of about 80 yards, and like Dave said, carrying 3 wedges like he does, I would think he would take the one that he feels he can hit, take a full swing at.
70 yards. Yeah.
70 yards it is.
Nice and slow.
You can hear the caddy say nice and slow. Sometimes the player will tell a caddy, remind me all week, this is what I'm trying to do.
Pin left. Pin left.
He's a maestro with the wedge, isn't he? Well, this is Father's Day, and there are a lot of them out there playing. Among them, Mr. Tom Kite and Roger Twyble. Talked to him about his family.
Tom, I know earlier this year at the Byron Nelson, after one of the rounds, you hopped on a plane back to Austin to watch your daughter in a gymnastics tournament. Family's very important to you.
Yeah, the family is very important to me. I've got a wonderful wife and 3 kids that are just so much fun to be around and so much fun to watch grow up, and they tend to put everything in its place. They don't let you get too overloaded on thinking that golf is the most important thing in the world. And a lot of times when you're out here traveling by yourself and you've gone 3 or 4 weeks without seeing your family, and you know, maybe you're really playing well and you start to get the big head, or maybe you're not making the putts and all of a sudden you're sinking lower and lower. Those are the times that you need the family to keep you on the even keel, and so I really try to spend as much time with them as possible, and if that means flying back to Austin to watch my daughter in a gymnastics meet, that's pretty important to me.
Now Larry Nelson at 6 for a par. So that will drop him back to even par. Now Simpson for birdie.
See the markings there to mark your ball, which is always a good idea so that you can identify it, the 2 little pencil marks beside the 8.
Lovely putt.
We might have had a tie there.
Now at the 7th tee.
Curtis Strange is out here preparing to tee off, and he's just waiting for the marshals to clear the fairway up in front.
Jerry, there are more people out today than there have been, maybe because it's a nicer day.
Well, no question, Dave. There's a big crowd out here today, and I think we're going to see it grow as we get back towards the back nine. Curtis is really striking the ball well. He just has to be patient with his putting. I really like the way he's swinging at it today. He's taking a driver off the tee here. Got it down the left center of the fairway, fading back perfectly right in the middle of the fairway.
Start of 3 straight par 4s to end the front 9 in 3 strong holes indeed.
Now Tom Kite, the leader.
Get there.
That was for bogey. Larry Nelson, 7th tee.
Also a good tee shot down the right side. Whoa, okay. Stayed in the fairway. 2 of these gentlemen have hit it perfect.
There you are, Ken Green and Father's Day. Family that stays together, huh? Plays together.
Oh, no.
Tom Kite now for a double bogey. This will be a triple. Co-leaders now, Scott Simpson and Tom Kite at 3 under. What a body blow.
That is like Mike Tyson hitting you in the stomach there when you, and such a good player too. I mean, it's you know, he doesn't play to make
And he played to his
scores like
strength,
that,
as you
right.
said. And
then to come away with a triple bogey there, and I'm sure that will get a lot of people's attention out there on the course as they look at these different scoreboards.
Well,
He's
now,
let any number of people back in the
even
tournament
par
now.
is only 3 shots away now.
Well, how about the plus ones?
Plus ones are in
Payne
it.
Stewart's
Plus 2.
2 under, and he's well up the course. Jack Nicklaus, 18. Playing in his 33rd Open. A record. If anyone breaks that record.
That's almost as old as Nolan Ryan's arm.
Oh, my goodness, yeah, there's another longevity record.
Up here at 16, that's Ken Green, who, as you know, is one of the more controversial people out here, but my goodness, the United States Open. We'll remember that many years from now, as Daddy is over a putt. The 6th hole now, where the leaders are, par 3 at 167 yards. With that 5th hole has extracted a price. Double bogeys to Ozaki and Blake, and a triple to Tom Kite. This has played the easiest.
I don't think you'll find that to be the case today, though, Jack.
No.
This hole's a hard hole today. It's into the wind, off an elevated tee, and it's kind of hard to see how the wind is blowing. It's blowing a little out of the left and in the player's face. Probably a 5-iron shot today.
Get out.
I understand that.
Just off.
Might be a little slick.
Downhill, isn't
yes, sir. That may be just a little swift down that hill.
Boy, does that look like a U.S. Open now?
Yes, it does.
I tell you, if you were casting a movie for a U.S. Open course, Oak Hill would be all right.
Beautiful golf course. It's a great feel when you drive in. All the trees, golf course off to your left.
All right, Tom Kite now. Really has to grab himself together now.
Step back, took another practice swing. Now stay with your rhythm, Tom.
Might be the biggest shot he's played in a long time right here.
It's a lot of practice swings, Bob, but
It's getting a little edgy. He was disturbed over on the 5th hole when he was laying up by a cameraman, and it looked like somebody made a little move there before he got ready.
Take it in.
okay. Just keep doing what you're doing, Tom.
Curtis Strange at 7.
Curtis with a 4-iron. That's from 180, and I feel like he has too much club. He's got to really cut it, and he did. Well, he hit it too soft. His caddy, Greg Reeder, was shaking his head the whole time. He wanted him to play the 5-iron. It's downwind.
Curtis plays a lot of shots, though. He's not one just with one shot, Jerry.
Well, I like that action, David.
18th hole. Jack Nicklaus, second shot. While we wait, let's pick up Larry Nelson at 7.
That's a 5-iron from 180.
Another nice shot by the former Open champion.
Now Nicklaus.
Who's won a few Opens in his time, 4 to be exact.
4-time second. Left to right, perfect where the pin is today. Where is it?
Just need to get up a little bit there.
All right, Kite and Simpson co-leaders now at 3 under. Co-leader Tom Kite at the 6th.
See, he's aiming way up to the left as the putt will begin to move to the right. Good speed there.
What a putt.
Rossi said it a minute ago, that was a big shot he had to play off that tee after taking that triple bogey at the 5th hole. And he's gotten an easy par, if you will, on the next hole as Scott Simpson just before Tom putted there.
Now
Very
on.
crucial there for Tom Kite to do that.
Simpson chipped it to there. Now up at 8, here is Mark McCumber for a birdie.
Come on,
Yes, he is 1 stroke away from the lead.
Oh, watch out for him. Left to right player and plenty long.
Now Scott Simpson for par. Keep a share of the lead.
I'm
Get
even
out of here
joking.
quick.
Good 3.
Now Larry Nelson at 7. He goes to 1 under, 2 shots off the lead. Oh, the back 9 is going to be a marvelous drama today. We had a 2-shot swing on the 3rd hole when Kite birdied and Simpson bogeyed, and then a 3-shot swing on 6. Now this was Curtis Strange a moment ago. Now live, this is for the par. Prenice remains 1 shot behind, tied with McCumber. And look at the 7th, David.
Beautiful par 4, 431 yards, as you see there. Creek should not be a problem on this hole. It's called the Creek's Elbow, but it's a very, very fine par 4, as you see through the trees there. 2 bunkers just next to the green. The 3rd bunker there short of the green again should not come into play for these guys. Start, as I said earlier, of 3 fine finishing par 4s on the front 9.
Scott Simpson.
That ball's way left, outside the gallery, and it's going to be blocked out. Be very fortunate to have any kind of a shot from there.
Larry Nelson.
Good tee shot right in the center of the fairway.
Now Tom Kite at the 7th.
Yeah, he looks back on track.
Here's what he has left. Into the 7th green with that pin up front. Curtis Strange at 8.
Down the left side of the fairway, just short of the bunker. This hole playing extremely long today, playing right into the wind.
Mark McCumber now at 9, his 2nd shot.
Jack, he's got 185 yards, and he better be careful. 2 players have just blown it right over the green here. There must be something going funny with the wind, going on in a strange manner.
He was careful. Again, he's well short of the flag there, but on the green.
Just a moment ago, Jack Nicklaus's 3rd shot at 18.
Well, we've all done that. Those, it wasn't that your sound went bad then. It just didn't make any noise when he hit it. Folks, that ought to give heart to everybody at home. We've all done it. You just saw the greatest do it right there.
Well, he started out so well with 67 on the first day, and now to finish this way.
Well, maybe that just gives you a little idea of what has happened to him since that 67. See, his patience isn't as good as it used to be either. Get a little older, it's not as easy to stay calm. But he would never have one-handed a putt 10 years ago.
No.
He'd have both hands on the putter.
Looked like Rossi.
No, Rossi more flair than that. I'll tell you this: Jumbo gets the prize for Jumbo logo.
I was going to say, what is that logo? Does anybody know?
Some kind of sailfish.
He's just 3 shots off the lead now.
Bogey that he made at 5 when Tom Kite ran into the trouble.
David, that's the 5th time today that Jumbo's hit the ball within 10 feet of the hole, so he's really playing well and has a chance at this tournament.
Jumbo Saki's been a good player a long time, 42 years old, and gosh, I saw Jumbo about 20 years ago in Japan, and he was a big star over there then. Jim talked about him being a baseball player and pitcher, and he was so doggone wild. And he decided that wasn't his game.
All right, Scott Simpson now at 7. Rossi?
Jack, he drove it so far to the left that he is actually all right. He has no problem with the trees at all. He's to the left of the trees that guard the left-hand side of the fairway, and he has a perfect lie up where the people have walked. He's 190 yards, but wide open right to the flag. Looks like he has a 4-iron out. These are the kind of breaks that Wynn opens.
Better than it looked like he could do after his drive. That's terrific stuff.
Tom Kite is 175 yards.
Quiet!
I would think maybe a hard 6-iron. The wind is swirling, but it's behind the players right now.
You're right, baby.
In the right-hand bunker. Might have hit it a shade heavy. It sort of splashed when he hit it.
Practice swing and have another feel for the shot. Great bunker player, though. He's got any kind of lie for him to knock it close.
Larry Nelson at the 8th fairway.
Larry with 202 yards with a 3-iron into the wind. He's got it coming in nicely from right to left. If it's enough club, he'll be on the green, and is. That's a beautiful shot.
On the green, a realistic birdie putt there, too, Jerry.
Tom Kite and Scott Simpson at 3. Curtis Strange and McCumber at 2. Larry Nelson and Ozaki at 1. And Wisnam, Lasabo, and Pernice at even. And that group down to Peter Jacobsen, all very much in this United States Open.
Oh, a lot of those guys got to take heart if they can, except obviously Hubert Green, who's already finished, that they've still got a chance possibly. Anybody near par or 1 over?
All right, Mark McCumber, 9th hole.
Slow down, Mark.
Nothing shy about Mark. Talk about enthusiasm that Chip Beck has. Here's a young man that has a lot of enthusiasm.
He certainly does, and one of the few players. Talk about Larry Nelson not having played college golf. Neither did Mark McCumber.
Shouldn't be doing that.
No, it's coming at me. 94 front. 87, 78 front. 78 front and 16. 4? Yeah, that looks good.
You heard Curtis say 4-iron. He has 194 yards.
That's what the 78 and 16 meant.
The ball
178 to the front, 16 yards back.
His hole is uphill into the wind. The wind has picked up, and his ball is sitting just in the short cut. He got a good break. He was in casual water and was able to get a lift from the long rough over to the short rough. Of course, there's no such thing as rough, according to Frank Hannigan. It's through the green. But he's going to take a 4-iron. He's got to fly it a little bit. And he did. Ball's a little left of the flag.
All right.
When I say hit a flyer, I mean the ball has to jump off the club face to get it there with a 4-iron from that distance.
Well, that was McCumber at 9 for his par. So he'll lose a shot at least as we go to Tom Kite at a moment ago from that bunker at 7. Right on line, but he's...
That's all right, though, Jack. You know, not as close as you'd like, obviously, but a good bunker player always controls the shot. He's not going to scull that shot or hit it 10 or 12 feet past from there.
There's a progress report. Now Scott Simpson.
This will be a great 3 here. Be a tremendous lift after hitting a drive where you think you're dead, and all of a sudden you're putting for a 3.
And the lead.
You know, he thought he made that because he stayed in position so long.
So the co-leaders both have putts here for par.
Again, each of these putts are big putts, obviously, but maybe psychologically more for Tom at this point. Just a moment ago, it seems he had a 3-stroke lead, and now he's got this putt to just keep a share of it. Cross-handed putting stroke. Boy, Bob, he sure seems jumpy. I tell you, he got over that putt and then backed away again.
He's having problems keeping his concentration all of a sudden.
Yes. Right.
'18th U.S. Open, and first time he's ever been a real factor.
Ozaki just off the 9th fairway.
That was an 8-iron shot from the right rough, and I cannot tell you how long he drove the ball here because players cannot afford to hit the ball in the right rough, and he just hit it past the corner.
That's where he got his nickname Jumbo, hitting the ball so far.
Larry Nelson at the 8th. It's for birdie. Scott Simpson got his par at the 7th also, so Kite and he remain tied. Nelson now 1 under with that par. Well, last year, as you know, in their first 21 games, the Baltimore Orioles lost all of them and finished in the cellar. This year, they're flying high in a race for top of the American League. Baltimore Orioles meet the California Angels, or the Toronto Blue Jays face the defending American League champions, the Oakland Athletics. East meets West on ABC's Thursday Night Baseball. Curtis Strange.
Speaking of Orioles, he's an Oriole fan. This is our own Jim McKay, who's a little more chipper this year about his Orioles.
This putt from about 15 feet. Left to right swinger, slightly downhill.
To get a share of the lead. No, Curtis.
He's had a lot of downhill putts today, David, and he's overdue.
Tom Kite and Scott Simpson, co-leaders, just 1 shot ahead of Curtis Strange. Another Texan, Tom Kite.
All right,
Well, that's it. Part of the course. It's down as we look at the 9th hole. Number 9, the finishing hole on the front 9. Beautiful par 4 that you're playing. Slight dog leg to the right, as you see. Again, very important to put the ball in the fairway, and you're shooting uphill to this green. Small bunker left short, and of course a larger bunker there to the right. Pin today in the back of the green.
Larry Nelson. 2 shots off the lead.
That's a nice looking tee shot down the right side of the fairway.
Now Scott Simpson at the 8th.
He's just going to lay out. He has no chance of getting anywhere near the green.
Boy, his drivers left him, it seems, at the time, huh?
Yeah, one to the left and then one to the right.
Well, second to the left, Bob. He second hole, wasn't he, to the left?
Yes, that's right.
So he's hit 2 hooks, and that's what happens to you. If you lose your rhythm, you're going to hit a couple of strangers here.
That's going to have to stop.
No, it didn't.
Ooh, don't get it.
Sort of went down deep, too.
Yeah. Got into the second cut of that rough there, Bob, it looked like.
Tom Kite's 195 yards into the breeze. I would think a 3-iron would be the right shot for Tom here. Pin right in the middle of the green.
Well, we wait there. Mark McCumber in the 10th. A moment ago. Now we're back for Tom Kite.
Ball's going a little left. Takes a terrible kick.
I think it went through the bunker, Rossi.
Oh, well, I'm not too sure about that.
Way back.
That has a lip on it there, Jack, and I'm not too sure that he did.
Nelson.
That's a 4-iron from 191. Had to fade the ball to get it around the overhanging trees.
Slows down. He's got a good shot, but it didn't.
All right, Simpson a little trouble. Kite may be in a little trouble at the 8th hole.
Tom may be in a lot of trouble there, because if that did stay in the bunker, it looked as though it might have gone up against the lip in the back with a downslope and no green.
Curtis Strange.
It'll be 61 to top and 11 to 72.
Curtis has driven the ball in casual water, but his relief is going to be into the rough on the right-hand side. The trees are blocking him out.
The wind is coming out of the right, mostly right at us. You don't have to go all the way back.
No, you don't. It's, you know, the green narrows the further you get back there. Yeah.
You heard him say he has 172. His hole playing uphill into the wind. He's going to play a 5-iron.
Well, the good point about the rule is, you know, we saw Tom Kite at the first hole get to go back to the fairway. Now, the rule here would have worked the other way. He certainly doesn't want to take it out of the fairway and drop it into the rough.
72 playing 8.
Well, you can always
he's
play
playing 80 up the hill, sure.
Curtis just noticing the wind's coming up a little bit stronger.
I can hit one more now.
He's thinking of 4-iron now, he said. He has a 5-iron in his hand.
All right.
He doesn't want to be long. This green is only about 35 deep, and the pin is 30, so he wants to be short of the hole. Well, he kind of hit a fat cut out of there. Yeah, as I said, he was in the water, in the casual water, and he got it on the green, but it wasn't a very good shot.
While that was happening, here's Scott Simpson's third shot at 8.
That's good out of there.
Now we're live, and Tom Kite. Rossi, did he go through, or is he in the bunker? What?
No, the ball went through the bunker and into the grass. He did get a break. As Dave said, if it had stayed in the downslope of the bunker, he would have had no shot. Now he has a shot that somebody with as great a touch as Tom Kite can play. It's a dangerous shot. It doesn't have much room. The pin's about 12 feet from the edge of the green. There's maybe 5 or 6 feet of fringe over the bunker. But I think you'll see Tom play a good shot here. He has a reasonable lie, not a real good one, not a real bad one.
Real still back here, please.
Sir, can I get you to slide around just a little bit for me? Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.
Another beautiful touch.
That's wonderful.
Almost impossible to stop that ball short of the flag, but he did. It's about 7 feet.
He's shaking his head, Bob.
10th fairway. Ozaki.
150-yard shot with a 9-iron for Jumbo, straight downwind and over that bunker at the right front of the green.
Now at the 9th.
With a little pitching wedge. Very easy pitch and well done there.
Now we have the two co-leaders facing par putts again. Scott's by far the longest.
Winner! Winner!
Up at 9, Curtis.
This is the furthest Curtis has been away from the hole on the first 9 holes. I really wouldn't call this a makeable putt, but you never know.
But you don't, because he's due. He's been 28 holes without a birdie.
He's very patient, David.
Now Tom Kite for par.
Curtis doesn't know it.
He's
but
tied
he's
for
back
the
in the
lead
tie.
with 29 straight holes without a birdie. This is a beautiful par 3 11th hole, and that's Mark McCumber.
About 195, Jack. Wind coming hard from the left.
Curtis for par. Yes. Simpson for bogey. Scott. And his first putt was so good, wasn't it?
Good looking putt. He thought he'd made it. You don't see him show a lot of emotion. They've all got emotion, obviously, but now he's left himself still one to be worked on.
That drops him to 1 under, and boy, have we have a change on the leaderboard. Strange and Kite now are your co-leaders at 2 under. And again, a whole group of people get back into this. And the back 9, where a few of them are now, Chip Beck for 1 at 12 is just 1 shot off the lead. Mark McCumber just 1 shot off the lead. Oh-ho. This afternoon is going to be very, very interesting.
This reminds me of a remark that Kerry Middlecoff made, who won the Open here in '56, that you don't win the Open, it wins you.
Okay, Ozaki to take a share of the lead.
As you know, it's Father's Day here. It's Monday in Japan, and Sunday in Japan was their Father's Day.
We'll return with more golf action from the 89th United States Open Championship after this message and a word from our ABC station. Oh, what a final 2 hours we're in for at the 89th United States Open Championship. 12 players within 3 shots of each other. And the leaders right now, Ozaki of Japan, Kite of Texas, Strange of Virginia. And now here's Jim McKay of Maryland.
Okay. Thank you. Jack Whitaker of Long Island.
Yes.
There it is visually. Peter Allis with us, of course. 3 tied for the lead. And Chip Beck, he's birdied the last 2 holes at 1 under, along with Scott Simpson, Larry Nelson, Mark McCumber. Ah, yes.
And once again, someone else's disasters makes someone else happy. And it certainly has bunched the field up. When Tom Kite holed that putt, that long putt early on, I thought he was sort of running away with it, but not now.
We would tell those who have joined us late that at one point, Tom Kite had a 3-stroke lead, but then he made 7 on the par 4 hole after going in the water, and it was all up for grabs. There are 9 players within 2 shots right now. Chip Beck.
Yeah, that's okay. Chip Beck's playing with Ian Woosnam from Wales, who took 6 double bogey at the 9th, but he's got a birdie straight away, and he's in it as well.
Scott Simpson, 2nd shot on the 9th hole.
About 190 yards from the left-hand rough, and he has a kind of a lie. I don't think he has any chance to get the ball to the green. Very sticky lie. Driving in the rough will definitely catch up with you eventually. Well short, Jim. Maybe 50 yards short.
There we see it. It's the point you made earlier, Peter. You got to drive straight if you're going to win the U.S. Open.
Well, it's a tremendous asset to keep the ball on the fairway, because it means that you can usually get on the green, certainly in 3. If you drive it miles, I don't know if you've had it. Here's Ozaki, who's really come right bang into the picture now. Joint leader, 2 under.
Par 3, 192 yards on the card.
195 yards today. Jumbo hit 4-iron.
Okay. Sat right down on it. I would imagine that it's quite a scene in Tokyo, where it is now about 5 minutes past 5 tomorrow morning. I suspect everybody's up.
Yes, and of course, if he were to win, what a great blow that would be. Larry Nelson, I think Nelson has played was the best golf today, certainly from tee to green.
He's even par for the day, 1 under for the championship, a stroke out of the lead.
That's an 8-iron from 162.
Okay, giving himself another opportunity.
Yeah, time and time again he's put the ball close.
Now live, Curtis Strange, tied for the lead after 29 holes without a birdie.
Curtis has 148 with a 9-iron. Pretty good lie. Ball sitting up.
Trying to become the first to successfully defend his U.S. Open title since Ben Hogan in 1951. Just short.
That was a good shot from there, Jim.
Okay. Now back to Tom Kite. 21 years ago, Lee Trevino became the first to shoot 4 rounds under 70 in the U.S. Open. Nobody's done it since then. Kite is under 70 today. Be the second to do it. However, at the moment, he's 3 over par for the day, so he's not looking too like that.
Yep. 175 yards from the hole. Got a drop. He was sort of in the right center of the fairway and had to drop it all the way over past the left the center and into the left part of the fairway. Uphill into the breeze.
Looking at the 9th hole, now down to Brown again.
Turn over, baby. Keep turning. Keep turning.
Okay. Right, steady. Started off shakily, made that par on the first hole after being in trouble. Got a birdie, 3-shot lead, met disaster. Now trying to steady and get that lead again. Chip Beck could move into that tie for the lead. Chip, who started the day at 1 over par, is now 1 under, 2 under in today's round. Best he tied for second in this championship. You may have forgotten that, but he did in 1986. So far this year, he hasn't won on the tour, but he was second at Phoenix, second in the Players' Championship. So we look at some other scores of the 71 who made the cut in the United States Open Championship. Here's Chip.
There, if he'd hit it, a good line from quite long range, though.
Now, Scott Simpson's 3rd shot on the par 4 9th hole. Strange. Well, if first you don't succeed, and if 29 times you don't succeed, try again. But you'd have to put this in the hole for a birdie. 29 holes without a birdie, and it's time for the lead.
Jim, for Curtis to get the ball this close to the hole after driving it in the rough has really taken advantage of the situation.
Okay, Jerry.
can see the mud on the ball there.
Yep. Jumbo Ozaki's long birdie attempt. Curtis's experience of moving into the lead without those birdies shows that par golf will get you almost everywhere in the U.S. Open. They'll usually come back to you.
Yeah, here's Nick Faldo, who won the Masters at Augusta in April, just finishing up. So we'll have to wait another year until someone wins the Grand Slam. That was for a round of 72, finished at 5 over par.
Now Kite at the 9th hole. Ian Simpson about to make the turn and undertake that long voyage home, the back nine. You leave yourself enough of those. Miss one.
Yes, it's certainly it's a big struggle here at the 10th. Larry Nelson, now he's put the ball near the hole a lot of times today. This is a birdie. It's on tape, recorded earlier, and this putt to go. 200 and a share of the lead. Ooh. Look how far it spun away.
Spinning off the side. Now, going to move along to Mark Macomber on the 12th fairway. Macomber, 1 under, stroke out of the lead, that's all.
160 yards.
Get up here. Get up.
Nope, into the rough. We have 7 players within 1 stroke in the U.S. Open. Curtis Strange, he's tied for the lead.
Par putt.
Yet another par.
Jim, that was the most important putt Curtis has had all day.
The cool Virginian. Simpson needing this for the par 9, or else he's going to drop another one back. At least.
Look how far the ball is running past the hole, though, Jim. It's quite amazing. And this is a crucial putt for Osaki, who's got himself tied for the lead. He can keep going now. Who knows what might happen?
Oh, yeah.
This has got to go in first.
All right, well done. He's having a great time out there.
Yeah, he certainly is.
42 years old, and this is by far the greatest achievement of his career, although he dominated the Japanese tour last year. Now Simpson needing this for the bogey. Drop it back to even par for the championship. 4 over for the day. So he makes the turn, 39 strokes.
Not after that good start. You know, he started so smoothly.
Larry Nelson's putt for a par on tape from 10. So bogeys are flying.
Well, he had a reasonable putt for a birdie.
So he's back to even par.
Yeah, they're all bunching up. It's going to come down to a last handful of holes to see who's going to sneak it.
Got the same kind of a putt here. 9th from Tom Kite. Now the Strange, Kite, and Ozaki tied for the lead. Those 3. Followed by Beckett and Macomber. And working back in the wings are still Simpson, of course, and Larry Nelson at even par, along with Ian Woosnam and young Tom Pernice. They're only 2 shots out.
Tom Pernice has kept going very well, and I'm pleased to see Ian Woosnam. This is his first U.S. Open. He's kept going very well.
Teed low there. Here's Jumbo on the 12th hole.
Really gives it a belt.
Sit.
I think that's going to bounce and go in rough.
Now the 11th tee. This is the par 3. Playing, as Judy said, at 195 today.
Come on, Kurt. Get down. Nice and safe, Kurt. Safe. Get down.
Flag, but it's still a good shot.
Good shot, Kurt. All right.
Well, they figure there's something like 25 or 30,000 people out here today watching this battle for the U.S. Open Championship. Any of these still could win it. On tape, Tom Kite at the 10th tee, starting the back nine, tied for the lead with Curtis Strange and Jumbo Ozaki. Oh boy. More trouble. Tom shot 38 on the front side, 3 over. Now Ian Woosnam on 14. This is the short par 4.
Yes, he's even par, and well, he's capable of getting a birdie or two.
1 under for the day.
Took 6 at the 9th. Takes a very deep divot. He's come up short and there in the shadows.
Back.
Yeah, not a very good one. But see, you get some idea of the speed of the greens, which look very flat through our television cam.
Now Ozaki. No Japanese player has ever won any one of the 4 major championships.
That was a 9-iron from 150 yards downwind.
Very good, eh?
Another opportunity.
Good shot. Really good shot from Jumbo there.
Still rolling. Okay, Judy, it's quite a scene out there with Jumbo, isn't it?
I tell you, Jim, he is really a crowd favorite here. The Americans greet him very warmly, almost boisterously at every green, and there's quite a Japanese contingent. And amongst the Japanese contingent is the finest female Japanese player in the world, Ayako Okamoto.
Ah, she's out there, huh?
Yes, she is. But the fans really love him. We get cheers of Jumbo for 2 or 3 minutes every game.
Well, I think we mentioned at the very beginning of the day, golf fans are wonderful, by and large, everywhere in the world. Whoever it is that's playing well, they'll urge them on.
And also, the Japanese have been playing golf for many, many years. And way back the back end of the last century, they started playing golf. It's a very ancient game there, and, well, of course, a very, very popular one.
Okay. Going to see Tom Kite at the 10th fairway.
He's driven in the left-hand rough, and actually he would have been better off if the ball had stayed in the bunker, because he would have been on the upslope of the bunker, but it got out of the bunker and onto the downslope in the rough. He also has kind of a thin lie. The rough isn't very thick over here. He's got to be very careful not to catch this tree right in front of him because of the creek that runs across the fairway about 70 yards short of the green.
Okay, Rossi, well described.
I believe Scott Simpson is going to play first. Scott is about 160, right in that area. Scott's got a 7-iron, pinned very much in the same place it was yesterday when he knocked it stiff.
So who is going to seize command on the back nine, if anyone? If no one does, playoff would be at 18 holes tomorrow. And ABC, of course, would televise, as we did last year.
Beautiful looking golf shot. Hit a little hard. That's unlucky right there. That is really unlucky.
Bob, these two have been stumbling a little bit. How much of it has been a bad luck and how much nerves, or a combination of both?
Well, it hasn't been very good play. Tom came up to me a couple of holes ago and said, we're making this course really look hard.
I think that this course really is hard.
Tom got it up over the tree. Don't think it's going to reach the green.
Bounce.
That's a good play. That's a really good play. The ball's about 10 yards short of the green. Tom's touch, he's got a good chance to make 4.
Now back to Chip Beck on the 14th hole, but chipping from the 15th tee. And over the green. Trying to stand fast at 1 under par, 1 shot out of the lead.
Well, a couple of good putts, Jim, a couple of good iron shots, and suddenly you could be the champion, despite yourself.
That's right. Now Jumbo, the new idol of the fans in Rochester, New York.
Well, another chance for a birdie.
About 20 feet. Yeah, short. Let's go back now to Curtis Strange at the 11th hole in that tie for the lead. Still looking for a birdie after, what is it now, 30 holes without
Yeah,
a birdie?
amazing, isn't it, how long he's got.
He's parred every hole today.
This putt from about 25 feet uphill, breaking from his right to his left. He pulled it as soon as he hit it. It was left all the way. Par is not a bad score, though, around here today.
No, it isn't. The birdies get tougher and tougher.
Well, there's been 5 scores, Jim, under Seve Ballesteros and Steve Elkington, 69 and 68, and then we had Robert Wren, 69, D.A. Weibling, 69, and Hubert Green, 68, and
Those are
70s.
just a bit easier to shoot when you're 10 or 11
Oh, yeah,
strokes behind,
exactly.
too, right?
Yeah.
Kite now with his 3rd shot at 10, remember, short of the green.
Kind of a difficult little shot, Jim. It doesn't look too hard, but it's going to come up over a rise, and then about 5 feet from the hole, it starts downhill. So if he can get it right to the top of the rise and let it trickle, it should be perfect.
Okay. Get a birdie on 3 after getting a shaky par on 1. Then the 7, the par 4 5th hole. Jumbo made his par at 12.
Hey, I don't like this part.
Tom's changing wedges. He's going to play one of his 3 wedges, and as I said, it's not a hard-looking shot, but I think it's a pretty difficult one. He's going to play more of a run shot here. May have gone to a 9-iron.
Bit indecisive out there, Ross?
Well, it was a tough shot. As you can see it picking up speed. That ball looked like it was going to be perfect and still ran 5.5 feet or 6 feet by the hole.
Oh, over here. Oh, no. Coming out with Butler.
Okay. 14th green, short par 4. Chip Beck needing this for the par. Remember, he went over on the 15th tee. Has to remain 1 under for the championship. Stroke out of the lead.
Come on, Chipper. I think it's time to working left at the start.
Tied for the lead, Kite, Strange, and Ozaki at the moment. Chip Beck from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Second leading money winner last year. Won himself just under $1 million. And that he made. So as we said, the bars will get you a long way, no matter how you make them in the U.S. Open. On the 12th tee, Curtis Strange. The 12th hole, par 4, 372.
That's a 3-wood. Curtis has put it in perfect position. Once again.
umbrellas. Some wise guys out there that got
The wise ones brought their umbrellas.
Fred Couples, the hero.
You know Dutch blood in Fred. You know the little boy that put his finger in the dam? Fred is saving them with his foot on them.
Dutch boy. His finger in the dike. Missed it. So there he drops down to 1 under. And we now have a two-way tie for the lead. Strange, the defending champion, and Ozaki of Japan. Who would have thought? That's where we are. We'll have a look at the leaders. Set them in your mind as you see them there. Curtis Strange and Ozaki. Kite dropping back. Now, here is the press room. Denizens of that room from around the world, 1,298 sets of credentials were given. Clocks from around the world, but look closely at the clock showing the time in California or Los Angeles. The sweep second hand goes backwards. Make of it what you will. Another look at Oak Hill from the Goodyear blimp overhead. Goodyear blimp travels about 180 days a year, just about half the year, going to special events and all kinds of great sports events. You've seen them everywhere. Guess we mentioned yesterday that this was the first year they've covered all 3 Triple Crown horse racing events. They were with us in Derby, Preakness, and Belmont. They picked a good year. Haha, did good year.
Saying,
all right.
Pretty much right with you here.
Okay, Curtis Strange.
Curtis from 140 yards downwind, slightly uphill. He has an 8-iron out. Curtis has really been striking the ball well. He's just been
5 left.
As his caddy just told him, it was 5 left. The pin is 5 paces from the left side of the green.
Quite remarkable that it's been 38 years since anybody's been able to repeat as U.S. Open champion, and that, of course, was the great Ben Hogan.
Come on, right.
Needs to cut just a little bit.
Okay.
Very bold shot, but well played.
Other ball you see there, Larry Nelson. Now go to the 11th tee and Tom Kite. Look from behind the tee.
There was a question at 10 green. Scott Simpson had about a 3-footer and thought that his ball might have moved as he addressed it, but it was ruled that it did not move, so he made 4. Tom Kite standing up here. He's got to start hitting some shots on the green and close to the hole because he's let it get away. He's got to grab himself and hold on.
Larry Nelson's made a double bogey at
It's just a shade too much club. Good looking shot, but a little long.
On tape, Chip Beck. The 15th tee, par 3 hole.
Heard him win.
You heard him. On the green. Now the 13th green, and Mark McCumber. McCumber, 1 under, shot out of the lead.
Jimmy had a very makeable birdie putt. He left it short coming down the hill from only about 12 to 14 feet.
1 under for the day.
Well, You don't reckon these last few holes are going to be exciting? I mean, they're tough par 4s to finish with. The 15th is a very demanding, a new hole, demanding par 3. So we could have the classic situation of somebody winning this with the last putt on the last green. There's so many of them bunched in there now, and the nerve ends are getting very raw.
Well, the shade of Donald Ross perhaps was a bit embarrassed when 21 players broke par here on Thursday, but he's having his revenge today. Ozaki, third shot here.
Jumbo's looking at a shot of about 140 yards uphill. He's taken a 7-iron now, a club that he should be able to hit very comfortably. Pin on the front left, and the best shots he's played today have been high, kind of gentle draws. This looks to have started just right at the flag.
Okay. Curtis Strange for a birdie, still looking for the elusive birdie.
Boy, was that putt fast. Whew. Just slid by, Jim.
Only one of the leaders actually made the turn under par today, and that was Mark McCumber. He had 34 in the front nine. Everybody else was even par or more. There's the leaderboard. Strange of Virginia, Zaki of Japan, Kite of Texas, Bank of North Carolina. They come from everywhere, the great golfers of the world. Ian Woosnam at 1 over par. Just a moment ago, at 15, his attempt at a birdie. Ian Woosnam of Wales, as we said, they come from everywhere. Put him back at even par. 2 shots out of the lead. Now we can see Chip Beck live at the 15th green. We see him there, as you do. He says looking for his first victory this year, but second leading money winner of 1988.
Well, the holes are just running out now, Jim. It's just a question of, you know, it's hard enough to finish with 4 pars. But we've seen Payne Stewart finish with a couple of 3s the other day. So did Nick Faldo. It's possible.
Yep. Short. So there's the par for Chip Beck. Someone seize control, or will they all fall back and leave one player as the champion?
Well, the way it's going now, you could have about 10 people playing off tomorrow.
That's right. Kite's birdie attempt at 11. You see the shadows now. The sun is shining at last. We've got the weather we had been hoping for all week. Didn't get until this afternoon. A man who had a 3-shot lead early this afternoon and now has to scramble back.
It's one of the curses of this game, Jim. You have time to think of the things that might happen and the mistakes you've made. It's not a reflex action game. 13th green, Ozaki.
Well,
for the
he's-
lead, eh?
Yep. Jumbo surveying it closely.
This attempt is about 18 feet. It'll swing pretty hard from his right to left.
Bandage on the right thumb there. This was just a scratch. Again, he's having such a good time today. Hope for the birdie didn't make it, but he still smiles on. The man from Japan. On tape on the 12th tee, Tom Kite fighting from behind, trying to get that lead again. And that's just about right. Now, sitting in Austin, Texas, watching all this is Tom's father, Tom Sr., with an old friend of his, Harvey Penick, who taught Tom Kite from when he was a shavetail. He was a boy. Both he and Ben Crenshaw. Mr. Kite, a little tension, I know, but hope is still there, very close.
Well, he could do it all right, but things are not going exactly as I would like for him to be going all right.
On Father's Day, do thoughts of his boyhood and when he started playing this game come to you?
Yes, sure do.
How about you, Mr. Penick? You remember the first time you taught that boy?
First time, yeah, I sure do. Tom had started out up around Dallas, but what I remember him just as a young boy.
Well, what
a lot of talent.
What would you say to Tom Kite today, right now, at this minute? What should he do?
Oh, I tell you, he just got to have confidence in that new putting stroke. If he can do that, I'm sure I have a lot of confidence that he'll come through all right.
I mean, first time you gave him a lesson, did you see some promise in this little kid?
Well, the last time he was here, I worked with his sand trap, and one of these, he got down in one putt, which I think was good.
Mr. Kite, when did you first feel ambition for your boy, that he might be this good?
I never did until he turned pro.
Oh, yeah? Huh?
Actually, I didn't want him to turn pro. He had other possibilities of going into other traits, and I felt like a professional golfer has an awful hard time. So he's surprised me all the way through.
Okay.
But I'm delighted he did turn pro.
Well, he's having a hard time today, too, but he's a fighter, and nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy the rest of the day. So, here is Tom Kite on the 12th fairway.
155 yards, wind swirling behind the players and coming out of the right with the pin cut extremely far to the left. Very dangerous shot.
You're right, baby.
Beautiful looking golf shot.
So as they say at the racetrack, hold all tickets. The result is far from official.
That's right.
Jumbo.
14th tee.
Short par 4, second shot uphill. Oh. Looks like trouble there, Judy.
Well, this...
Okay, we'll get another look at that. Here's Scott Simpson at the 12th. 2 strokes behind.
That was from 150 yards. Another good-looking shot.
I should say, even better than the other. On 16, the second shot of Chip Beck on tape. Beck, 1 shot off the lead. It's Jumbo and Strange, remember, tied for first.
Get up. Hit hard, baby.
Didn't get up as far as he wanted. You see the breeze is still blowing out there.
Get above that hole.
The next to play on that hole was Ian Woosnam.
Just a couple of strokes behind. So, but you've got to finish with no less than 3 falls because they're difficult holes to finish. And that
1 under
may have just come off at a shade as he got it up the green. Just side by side.
Woosnam 1 under for the day. Now, the travail of Jumbo Ozaki, who's been sailing along, smiling his way through Oak Hill. He's got a problem now.
Well, Jim Travail it is. hit the iron off the tee, as you could see behind this pine tree. They're large, what we would call Christmas tree, I suppose. And he's looking like he's going to try to play a shot underneath the right side of the tree, smash it real hard with a mid-iron and see if he can't hit a low hook and run the ball up as close to the green as possible.
You think that's the smart shot?
It is his only option to advance the ball forward. Otherwise, he would have to play sideways out to the fairway.
What do you think, Peter?
Well, if it comes off, he's a hero, and if it hits the tree, everyone will say, well, of course, he should have chipped out sideways and put it on the green, then he might have had still had a chance to hold the putt for a par. That's where he is. You see, he pushed it behind the trees on the right.
Almost.
Well, that's the shot he's going to attempt.
See if he can do it.
The ball went firing over the green, and I can't tell just how much trouble it may be in.
Over the green, though.
Over the green, for sure.
Okay. He hit the shot he wanted, but too much of it. Now back on 12. Here's Tom Kite. Reaching for a towel. Things dry as the sun increases the temperature. It's about the mid-70s. It's really a very pleasant day. Okay, have a look here now. Strange and Ozaki tie for the lead. One stroke back. Tom Kite, who led when the day began, and Chip Beck, who is coming from the rear. You saw the others there. Tom Pernice having a very good day on the golf course. Larry Nelson was going along nicely until he got a double bogey. Kite. Curtis Strange.
6 left.
Third shot on the par 5, 13th hole. 594 yards long. A true par 5. Three-shot.
Curtis has a 5-iron, 164. This shot is slightly uphill. The pin is tucked only 6 yards onto the front left part of the green. Slightly into the wind. Well, he's hung it way out to the right.
But on the green. We're joined in the commentary booth now by Jack Nicklaus. Tell us about the course today, Jack, how it's playing out there, and the idiosyncrasies it might have developed.
Well, the golf course is playing all right, Jim. It seems to have dried out a little bit. The greens are putting reasonably well. It's obviously it's still soft as can be, but just like the putt that Curtis has coming up here in a minute, they're still not as fast as you think they might be.
That's Chip Beck. That would have tied him for the lead. Of course, does seem to be having a bit of revenge today.
Well, it's a tough golf course. You've got a golf course that if you drive it in the fairway, you're picking up mud. The greens are starting to get a little quicker. You've got a little bit of wind. You've got some conditions that are becoming a little bit more testy. And, of course, coming down to the end of a golf tournament, when you want to do a little more with the golf ball and the pins are tucked in tough positions today, it just makes it a little bit more difficult with all the little testy conditions in the last round of the U.S. Open.
You see the gallery watching Mark McCumber. He's 2 shots back now, and holes are going to be running out pretty soon.
I think that's a 4-iron from about 180 yards.
Going back.
The wind really held that ball up. It's blowing very hard right now.
And here was Simpson a moment ago for a birdie. Oh, well, that puts him at 1 under, back within a shot of the lead again. Now the same player live at the 13th tee, the par 5, the long one.
Ball started way right. It's going to catch the right rough.
Well, it was on the final 9 holes 2 years ago that he was mano a mano with Tom Watson, and it was in the end Simpson, of course, who came out on top. But is it a big problem there, Jack?
Well, when you hit the ball in the rough on 13, you're going to have to play a mid-iron out unless you get a very, very lucky lie, and you're going to end up playing a long iron to the green. And that's not a green that you want to be playing a long iron into, so it's a difficult position. This is a real par 5.
It's driven it right down the middle of the fairway. Beautiful drive. And hooks into the left-hand rough.
Yeah.
Excuse me, that wind really caught that one.
Was the wind increasing as the day went along when you were out there, Jack?
The wind's been very tricky. We just saw Mark McCumber play a shot into 15 a moment ago. That hole there is the wind either blow the ball up or let it get through it. Tom had the same situation there with his tee shot.
Pretty good.
It's playing right into the wind, and if you get a little bit of draw and it gets up, it turns it sideways. So the wind's becoming a very big factor here in the last few holes.
Taking away on the left, both right and left rough.
Now Curtis Strange, still tied with Jumbo Ozaki.
This putt from about 40 feet. As Jack said, it's downhill and not quite as fast as it looks, but it's still extremely fast, breaking from right to left.
Now, Ozaki, meanwhile, is in trouble. Remember, he hit that 2-iron under the tree and over the green. Now, Judy, where is he? What's the problem?
Well, Jim, obviously, he hit the shot that he tried to hit, but the ball got up in the air too fast on him and carried on the green. He's really lucky that it's not out of bounds, but he still has a pretty bad problem. The ball was in our camera tower, and he's now trying to get relief from that.
So he's getting a drop from the camera tower.
He is getting a drop, but his play is still going to be very, very difficult.
Meanwhile, here's Curtis Strange. Golfers?
He hasn't appeared there very often. He's missed out on several chances of playing, and so not many Europeans, certainly not many British players have had the pleasure of seeing him play.
Ball's in play. Thank you.
Okay, now he has dropped. Looks like it's down in there a bit, Judy, is it?
Well, it's very deep. I doubt that it's been mowed any time recently. He had to take relief from the camera tower because of interference from his swing and also relief line of sight.
Okay, now the green is just over that hill there?
The green is straight up from Jumbo's vantage point. He's got a sand wedge in his hand. The pin in the back of the green, maybe some 12 or 15 feet to work with, and a just tremendously hard shot.
Tom Kite from the rough.
He's got a terrible lie, and he has taken a wood club out. I think he figures that the wood can get through the grass a little easier than any kind of a mid-iron. Topped it and went about 30 yards and still in the left-hand rough.
Just past the guy.
Oh dear.
Coach stopped it.
Well, the problem now is he's going to take at least 4 shots to get to the green. Now, here's Ozaki and his dreams of glory maybe disappearing right before our eyes. But who knows? He might.
Oh, this is a great shot.
Yes,
oh, sure had the line, but just about no way of holding that much closer, wasn't it, Judy?
But absolutely as good a shot as he could have played from where he was.
Curtis for the par now at 13. That shot at Jumbo's is not one you get a chance to practice very often, Jack. Okay.
Jumbo's quite happy to be on the green at 3.
I would think so. Curtis Strange continues to par this golf course. And it's been, what, 31, 32 holes now since he's had a birdie. If you can believe it.
That's the problem with this golf course. The golf course really doesn't have any place that gives you anything, and it's there just aren't any birdie holes out there.
Well, it looks deceptively calm behind the leaderboard there with the shot that you see. Strange and Ozaki tie for the lead, but maybe not for long. There are the others still fighting on. Chip back on the 17th fairway now. Really running out of holes, but he's only one stroke behind.
Come on, baby. Eat him up, darling. Eat him up. Eat him up, darling.
And he's giving himself a chance here. Yep. Very tight quarters in the U.S. Open. Jumbo needing this for a par. Stay tied for the lead.
Well, Jim, after we left his ball, it trickled on down the little gentle tier in the screen, so
just kept going, didn't it?
This par attempt is of some length, 30, 35 feet.
It does not make it Curtis Strange to lead the Open alone. Trying to become the first, remember, since Ben Hogan in 1950 and 51 to repeat as U.S. Open champion. It's a good putt. But the bogey 5 will drop him to 1 under par, so Strange leads alone. Tied for second, Ozaki, Kite, Beck, and Scott Simpson. Here's Curtis. He doesn't know it yet, but he's got the lead.
He's taking a 2-iron off this tee. Of course, it's a very short par 4. The main thing he wants to do is just put it in the fairway.
Could you tell, has he been doing much leaderboard watching on the way around?
He certainly did. On number 10, he stared at the leaderboard, and of course he had that little 5-foot tester and knocked it right in the middle. And his caddy came up to me on 11 and said, if we can just par in 8 more pars, we can win, before he put it on 11. Good swing right down the middle of the fairway.
Yes, it sure is.
Perfect position.
One more look at the leaderboard so you can keep it set in your mind. There it is. Strange by himself, and then Kite, Beck, Simpson, and Ozaki. That would seem to be the fight to the finish. Awaiting the champion to be his for 1 year. He takes it home and guards it carefully, they hope. There is the U.S. Open Champions Trophy. What a dream. So we'll return with more action from the 89th U.S. Open Championship after this message and a word from our ABC stations. The leader of the U.S. Open on the 14th fairway, the defending champion, Curtis Strange.
Pretty good
Now,
right to left.
Over to Jack Whitaker and Dave Marr.
Thank you, Jim. One shot from Kite, Beck, and Simpson. I'm sorry, Rossi, go ahead.
Jack, this Jerry Pate, he has 113 yards with a pitching wedge. This is where the golf course really starts to play tough.
Jack. Yeah, we've seen a lot go over there and a lot of trouble, and a lot be very short and roll back. All right, here's Osaka. Par 5, 15.
Jack, he looked as though he went with a 5-iron there, and you're going to see in just a second. He's flirting with disaster.
Held up, though.
Yes.
He had the proper club there. I want to ask Jack Nicklaus, what'd you play there today, Jack, at 17?
Played a little 4-iron, Dave. Hit it in about 10 feet and made it. So it depends whether you keep it under the wind or hit it hard.
Chip Beck for a share of the lead.
Chip's getting married next week, and that would be quite a little deal to be the Open champion.
What indeed. Now, 13, Tom Kite. This is his 5th shot at the par 5.
And this is really a tough shot. Coming out of the rough, severely breaking from left to right.
He is so wonderful with those shots. might look back later on at choice of clubs at second shot there.
At 15, Ozaka. Still in it, isn't he? Huh?
He's a very good player. We haven't seen much of him in this country, but he's been a good player in Japan for many, many years, Jack.
Scott Simpson at 13.
Coming across the green, breaking from right to left. Fairly level as far as being uphill or downhill.
Let her go.
Larry Nelson at the 14th.
Advantage. That was a big advantage for Curtis to look at that putt. He could see the ball breaking to the left.
He really didn't do very well.
At the 18th tee, Chip Beck.
Go get him, Chip.
Mark McCumber at 16.
That's a 6-iron from 172 yards.
Oh, and he measured it correctly.
It's a big 6-iron.
Ooh.
Still got a chance. He's been up and down all week also. This for 6, Jack.
Father's Day as Tom Kite. Double bogey here at the 13th. And almost inexplicable, isn't it, Jack Nicklaus?
Well, it's hard to describe what's happened to Tom. And Tom has wanted a major championship so badly, and he's come so close so many times that I'm sure it's very disappointing for him to have this happen to him.
It's Curtis now. We'll have that for par. And leads this tournament by 1 shot.
Okay, Curtis. Come on, Curtis.
Curtis Strange at 15.
This hole playing 185 yards. Curtis with a 4-iron.
Sarah Strange, very interested on that.
Very nice lady.
Jack, as I was saying on 14, Curtis told me this morning, 14 through 18 were the holes he had to play today. It needs to cut and get up. Not too bad.
This is the par 3 downhill, and then come 3 really stretching out par 4s. Cumber at 16 to go 1 under.
Jack, the only mistakes Mark has made today have been on the green. He missed that little short putt at 13, and he 3-putted number 9. played beautiful golf. He's right back in there.
One shot behind the leaders, Mark McCumber. Now, a moment ago at the 18th, Chip Beck was 1 under.
Beautiful shot there, about 15 or so feet short of the hole, putting up the hill there.
Now Ozaki at 16, second shot.
Well, we've got more trouble. Jumbo's driven the ball in the right rough. He's in a place that has been muddy, but is pretty dried out. The lie is good. His biggest problem is his backswing is restricted with the big pine tree that the ball is under. A shot of about 185 yards or so. He looks to be gripping down on a 5-iron, really flexing his knees so that he can make a full backswing.
Get out. Get out.
Get out.
I caught that little fin, Judy.
Well, he just moved the ball about 50 or 60 yards and did not get it out of the right rough.
Mark McCumber at the 17th tee.
Went left to right. Probably the most important shot in the finish right here.
I think also the most difficult.
You're right, Jack. I think that condition is very difficult to drive.
That's why he loves this course. He said that he just knew he was going to play well here. He's a left to right player, and that hole just fits his game perfect.
He's had a mammoth drive here.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Chip Beck at 18 now. This would tie him for the lead.
Jack, you've been putting on that green. What does he face here besides going 2 under for the tournament?
Well, I didn't quite putt from that angle, but
Well, not today,
that putt breaks very sharply from left to right, and of course it's hard to get it up that hill. Most everybody below the hole has been leaving a little short. It's a little slower than what you think it is, and Chip's going to have a ball that's going to just break dead right at the end, and if he gets the right pace on it, he has a chance to make it. He didn't hit it hard enough and broke dead right on him. It's just everybody's been doing that there.
Chip Beck is in with par and will post a 1 under. They'll have to shoot at that now as we look at Ozaki.
It's a little sandwich from about 90 yards, right at the flag.
He might escape with a par here. This man is full of little surprises.
I think he has to escape with a par here to have a chance, David.
Scott Simpson off the fairway again here at 14.
He has a terrible lie over there, Jack, and he's got the tree to worry about. He just has to shave the tree to hit the right-hand side of the green, and there's just no way you can turn the ball out of this kind of rough. He's going to have to hit it very hard to get it up to the green. And that didn't get up. That's going short of the left-hand bunker. Really didn't have much chance.
Woosnam at 18. Hey, he's got it.
That's 1 under par in 279. He's also tied with Chip Beck. Man, first U.S. Open. Birdies the last hole. Shoot, well, 68 the last round and 279.
Not too bad, huh? He was so excited, he threw the ball to the gallery and threw it right over.
What an arm.
So we've got 2 in at 1 under. Chip Beck and Ian Woosnam.
Wow, what great stuff.
Isn't it just, huh? The 89th U.S. Open. Going to be one to remember. We'll return with more golf action from this Open after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Ozaki for par at 16.
Well, that was a wonderful third shot there, but the drive cost him.
Now, Scott Simpson, while we were away, had this at 14.
The one place you know you don't want to go is over the green there.
Now, Mark McCumber at 17, second shot. Now, there are two pretty tasty shots there, Jack. Nicholas, that is a pivotal hole here.
Well, I tell you, that was two good shots he just played.
So Scott picks up yet another bogey and drops him to even par.
That 1 under score is looking awful good, isn't it?
Isn't it? Sure is. Chip back, and Ian Woosnam finished at 1 under. There's the leaderboard at the moment. Ian Woosnam is with our Roger Twibell.
Thank you very much, Jack. And Ian Woosnam, his first U.S. Open championship, and a day around of 268 and 1 under for the championship. Great playing. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Double bogey at 9.
Yeah, I was going really nicely and had 160 yards to the flag, uphill into the wind, and hit a nice little 6-iron. The wind must have dropped, so I went straight over the green.
Was that the biggest problem today, the uncertainty of the winds?
Yeah, I did quite well. I managed to keep it low of the hole most of the times, and, you know, I don't know what happened there. Some really tough pin positions, though.
18, you made the birdie there. Good shot. Big drive here at 18 for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't holding back on that one. Driving a 9-iron up there.
A driver and a 9-iron at 18?
Just a little 9-iron. I didn't kill it.
That's very impressive indeed. On the tee at 17 is Jumbo Ozaki. What about the 17th hole today?
It's playing very tough because you can drive it through the fairway. You've got to hit a perfect little fade on the shot to keep it in the fairway. If you hit it down the left, it could just run into the left-hand rough.
So Ozaki, who made... is at even par right now, and 2 shots off the lead, walking down with J. Don Blake, a man who was in contention for the first 3 rounds. Ian, thank you very much. You're at 1 under, in good shape. Congratulations on a great Open. Let's go back to Jack Whitaker.
Thank you, Roger. All right, Jerry Pate, what's going on here?
Well, Larry Nelson hit his tee shot well over the back of the green, and he was trying to get relief from a camera. The camera was not between his line of flight and the flagstick, so he did not get relief, although that was the only direction he could play the shot. He was stymied by a pine tree. Has taken a while, but I don't think it's going to affect Curtis too much. Curtis has an excellent lie, and he seems pretty calm right now.
Start slowing down. It's okay from there.
This is Tom Pernice at the 17th.
This young man's played very well, Jack.
Graduate of UCLA in economics. Played well within the last month. Finished, as a matter of fact, in the money at the Kemper Open.
Now, Mark McCumber.
Jack, you think the Open doesn't really pump guys up. Mark had 212 yards to the hole there, and he was wondering whether or not to hit a 4 or a 5, so he just decided to hit a little 4-iron, and he hit it past the hole.
Well, Ed, did you hear what Ian Woosnam said? He hit to the 18th hole.
He plays with a different deck, though. He hits it so far.
A 9-iron. That even popped Jack Nicklaus's eyes open a little bit there.
Well, I played 7-iron. That wasn't too bad.
Well, I know.
And Boosie hits a 9-iron from where I hit a 7-iron.
All right. He's won on good courses before. Won the TPC in his hometown of Jacksonville on a very difficult, dangerous golf course.
Ooh, so elusive.
He looked like he was aimed right all the way there. Yeah. I think he must have misread it.
All right, 15.
No question, this is the biggest putt Curtis has had to make all day. He's gone 34 holes with pars now.
He's foul-doing the place.
This would be the biggest par maybe of his career today if he can hold this putt.
At this point, each time he's got one of these, Jerry, it's just, like you said, when he looked at the scoreboard there at the 9th hole and he had the 5-footer and knocked it right in, he's been very cool about saving them.
Well, Curtis now turns for home on those last 3 long holes as we watch Mark McCumber here for par at 17. Remains 1 under with 1 hole left. Curtis Strange leading by 1. Not coincidentally, Oak Hill has enrolled all its members in the USGA Associates as we look at Tom Kite on videotape at the 15th.
See that ball start low and to the right, then left and clear.
That didn't even come close. That was in the lake as soon as he hit it.
Also on videotape, Curtis Strange.
Yes!
Steady. And Scott Simpson at the 15th. Also on videotape.
Terrible. Tom hits it right. Scott left. You see that a lot of times.
At 17, Osaki. Nicely done. He has 3 there. Now the leader in the 16th fairway.
Curtis is 169 to the flagstick. He has a 6-iron out. The wind is from right to left, and although the ball is up against the collar of the rough, it shouldn't affect his hit on the ball. He's got a very good lie. That ball is covering the flag right there. He's swinging well.
He's also seemingly the calmest one out there.
David, I think he's the meanest one out here. He hadn't cracked a smile all day. You got to be tough, and to do what he's doing, it's remarkable.
Strange is 5 under.
The history there. He should be the first player to win 2 Opens in a row since Hogan did it at Marion and Oakland Hills.
Curtis! Keep going! Baby, Kurt!
Not that you're superstitious or anything, but it looks like the same color shirt he wore the last round last year. Plus, he didn't change his schedule at all. Last year, he had an outing on a Monday before the tournament, and this year he booked an outing.
Now at the 18th, Mark McCumber, just one shot off the lead.
He has 182 yards.
Perfect kind of pin position for him.
I think it is, Dave. He fades the ball. He can hit it high in the air when he wants to. I think it's a perfect pin for him to hit it close.
I don't think it's helping at all. I can't get any dry grass.
He knows the wind is blowing to the right, but he can hardly feel it where he's standing, right down in this low spot in the 18th fairway. So that's what he's discussing with his caddy.
Well, that's my choice if you're going to trust to have what this is. I don't want to step on top of the fire. That makes sense. I think you might be better with it.
Mark wants to hit 5. His caddy wants him to hit 6.
I think 6 is a better club for him.
That's what he's got.
I can't trust him, Mark. I think that's the right thing.
It is a 6, Ed?
That's what he has, a 6 iron.
So he can hit it hard, Jack? Is that why you're saying that?
Well, I think so. I think Mark is a strong iron player anyway. At this point in the tournament, you're really kind of pumped up.
It looked like he hit it very hard. Perfect kind of shot. He started it toward the center of the green with a cut and used the slope. And it's right down there for that birdie putt.
And he's down there about where Chip Beck was a moment ago.
The only problem was he didn't get to see Chip putt, did he?
No, he didn't.
Curtis at 16.
Curtis has taken a long look at this putt. It's only about 10 feet, pretty flat putt. Nothing he should worry about as far as speed, and it should possibly break just a little bit to his left.
This is one of the easiest greens on the golf courses, I think, to read, and I think it's probably one of the smoothest to putt. It's this green is pretty much as it looks, and not all the greens are that way on the golf course.
Jack, if he could make this, he'd put the icing on the cake, I believe, for the rest of the boys. He's playing awful consistent.
Well, he couldn't have it in a better spot in the green to make a putt.
It's just been a long time between birdies here.
It's hard to make one when you haven't made one for a long time, but I'm sure that that's disappeared from his mind before he's putting this. He's thinking about this putt.
And so is Sarah.
Get in the hole. Get in the hole. Get in the hole.
There it is. The drought is over.
Jack, 35 straight holes without a birdie.
Well, you know, you play along, and you think about birdies, and you think about making a birdie, and all of a sudden it gets on your mind. But all of a sudden you're getting down the end of the tournament, and you're a shot ahead. All of a sudden that thought leaves your mind, and that putt that he had in front of him really changed. The thought changed, and he really wanted to make that putt.
You know, it's
Watch Sarah, yeah.
so hard to be watching. I was thinking of Mr. Kite, Tom's father, how much it hurts when you can't do anything.
And Mr. Penick there, too, one of the great gentlemen of golf, Harvey Penick.
And wives suffer too, don't they?
I think people that love you suffer more. I mean, the player at least has some control over things.
Curtis Strange now, a 2-shot lead at the moment over Chip Beck and Ian Wisdom, who are finished. And we have Chip Beck here in the studio with Roger Twyla.
Okay, thank you very much, Jack. Chip with a 2 under 68, 1 under for the championship. Chip, you played awfully well today.
Very consistent, and I had a lot of opportunities at the end of my round, and I converted on 11 and 12, and I was really looking for a few more.
What about Curtis Strange now at 3 under, 2 shots ahead? What do you think your chances are at this time?
Well, I think that Curtis is a tough man to beat, and 17 and 18 are about playing as easy as they've played all week, to be honest with you. He hit a 6-iron in 18. It's playing very short, so I think he'll do just fine.
17's a pivotal hole for Curtis because he's played it 4 over the first 3 days. Congratulations. I know you're getting married next week, Chip, and good playing this week.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go back to Jack.
Thank you, Roger. Yes, congratulations, Chip. A great open, and congratulations on the marriage. All right, here's the tough hole. It has not been too kind to Curtis. The 17th.
A golfer's memory is pretty long.
Well, I think this is a tough tee shot for Curtis, in that Curtis likes to hit the ball with a little right to left, and this is really a left to right hole. And if you get it over the hill right to left, obviously you could run through the fairway. But this is probably as important tee shot as there is going to be today.
He's hit it perfect. He started it left and faded it right in the center of the fairway. Jack, he's been working the ball left to right all day long, and the wind is left to right, and it's just a perfect setup for him.
Well, that was a great tee shot there.
Let's take a look at this giant. It's a par 5 for the members, but when the Open comes here, they make it a 4.
And they leave the tee right there. It's a little left to right tee shot. You played at the crown of the hill. The fairway goes a little bit away left over the crown. Obviously, a little left to right tee shot puts it in the middle of the fairway. You've got a sea of bunkers coming into the green, and it's sort of a 3-tiered green. The pin's on the back tier today, and it's one that the ball will just sort of run to the back of the green.
All right, Jack. Lee Trevino in 1968 had this putt for a par at this hole.
It's home. Lee Trevino saves the par. At 17, he remains 1 under par for the tournament and preserves his 4-stroke lead over Jack Nicklaus, and that just about does it.
That was Bill Fleming's call in 1956. Ben Hogan 3-putted this green to stop him from a playoff with Cary Middlecoff. Now Mark McCumber at the 18th with the putt. That now would bring him into second place alone.
He just looked at that scoreboard too, so he knows probably to have any chance. He's got to make this. You can't expect Curtis Strange to bogey both the last 2 holes. Stranger things have happened, obviously. He looked up at that board and he saw that 3 on Curtis's name there.
Dave, if he finishes 1 shot back, that little putt at 13 where he 3-putted, and the putt at number 9 where he 3-putted from about 40 feet, but a very flat putt, I know he won't like to remember those. He can't be thinking of that now, though.
He's got to be thinking of getting the ball up to the hole on this one. And of course, we said before, this one breaks real sharp if you don't have enough pace on it.
If he makes it at worst, he's second by himself.
Now at 16, Scott Simpson.
Scott and Tom are just trying to get in the clubhouse now. It's been a disastrous last few holes for both of them. Scott salvaged a 4 there at 15, made a marvelous 4. It's about 180 yards here. Got a 5-iron.
shot.
Now the leader at 17.
Curtis from 207 yards with a 3-iron. The wind is just straight left to right. Perfect for this little shot he needs to play in. The pin is on the right-hand side of the green in the back, 25 deep. He has an absolutely perfect lie. Couldn't have driven it better.
Return with more golf action from the 89th United States Open Championship after this message and a word from our ABC station. From the Goodyear blimp, the 18th hole at Oak Hill, waiting to receive the champion. While we were away, Mark McCumber, after that valiant try for birdie, had this for par to finish this tournament at 1 under.
Believe it or not, these are hard putts. You've had a good chance to make a birdie here and finish 2 under, maybe win your first Open. Still have a little work to be completed. Good round, good tournament.
69 today, 279. Marvelous tournament for Mark McCumber. And look at the crowd, they love him.
They should. He's a very nice guy.
Now back at 17, Mr. and Mrs. Strange.
I tell you, the shot Curtis played in here is one you dream about. He put it absolutely below the hole, about 12 feet, putting straight uphill.
Right center.
Very makeable putt.
Come on, do this. It's a little cozy there because you've got 2 in hand and you can play. Makes 18 play different, like a 3-stroke lead also. But
a 2-shot lead going to the final hole. Now a moment ago, Scott Simpson back at 16.
Get one for a change.
Okay. That puts Scott back to even. Jumped over a few people.
Well,
2 holes left for him.
2 holes left. Let's don't quite stop this yet.
Here's what Curtis will face.
Beautiful finishing hole, 440 yards long. It's been very wet down there. You've got to stay left of that bunker, but of course the left rust is very tough there. Fairway a little firmer, hole playing a little shorter than it has because the wind's downwind today. Okay. This is Dr. Kerry Middlecoff. When the hole was a little bit different at that point, the green was farther back. This is his 3rd shot in 1956 when he beat Hogan and Julius Boris by a stroke. And the doctor from Memphis pitched it stiff.
Splendid, splendid. Bodacious.
That's a word he loved.
And here was Trevino in 68.
There's a second shot with a 6-iron.
What a great shot, Chris, that he played out of that. Boy, oh boy. The downslope, that long rough.
About 4 feet for a par.
That's right. We don't also use the word scoop.
Now at the 18th tee in 1989, the leader.
Yeah!
got to do something that's been done in 38 years, successfully defend a U.S. Open.
So Curtis Strange, 2 shots to the good at the moment, and in the middle of the fairway on the final hole. The 89th United States Open coming to a close as Curtis Strange has a 2-shot lead now as he walks down 18, and to walk him home, here is Jim McKay.
All right, Jack, thank you very much. And here is Jumbo for a par at 18. Jumbo Ozaki, even for the championship, 1 over on today's round, if he makes this. So it'll be a round of 72. He'll finish at 1 over for the championship.
That's too bad.
Moment that's good for 7th place here. The top 15 automatically qualified for next year's U.S. Open, so he'll be in. The top 16 qualified for next year's Masters. Now Tom Kite. What a terrible day for him. 8 over par for the day. Now 3 over for the championship.
That was way left.
The dream was almost within his grasp, but he couldn't quite reach it. There's Jay Don Blake. What a wonderful tournament. That was for a par. Brings him in at 4 over for the championship. A round of 75 today. He started off with that 66. Played quite well all the way through. 30-year-old professional who at one time ran out of money, worked in a hardware store, selling hammers and screwdrivers and things. Now he's back out there with a 3rd at Atlanta, an 8th in the Kemper, and now a good finish in the U.S. Open. Larry Nelson. Very unlike Larry Nelson, it came apart on him on the back 9 here. He made the turn, he was 1 under par, now he's 4 over, 5 over on the back. Trying to make it around in 40 strokes. So it looks like that long sought repeat championship in the Open is going to take place. Strange, 2-stroke lead. We're going to watch him come home now.
I do too. It's a perfect club.
Morales with us, Jack Nicklaus, Dave Marr.
It's been an amazing week, though, Jim, hasn't it? So many things have happened, so many records broken or set, or things that haven't happened for years. Here's Curtis.
Curtis with a 6-iron from 173, slightly downwind.
Harry Truman was president of the United States. That's a good while ago, isn't it, gentlemen?
Certainly is. But he's deserved it, though, hasn't he? He's kept going well, and the big names around him fell away. Mark McCumber had a wonderful chance. He was very close to tying. But Strange, just when he needed it, he managed to get that birdie at the 16th, which just gave him that little cushion and made all the difference.
Hard. The first 15 holes, they got the birdie, and they can hardly wait to welcome him. Here it is.
Even 2017,
He hasn't even started up the slope yet.
That's the greatest feeling in the game, coming to the 18th hole and knowing you've won. All you have to out some way to get it down in 2 or 3, and it doesn't make much difference.
You've had that feeling 4 times. Now he's had it twice.
It's a great feeling.
They have to save some for when he putts out. So he has said it all with his golf clubs out there today, parring the first 15 holes. Birdie opportunity came on 16. He rammed it in. And now needs to get down in 2 putts for a round of 69 in his 2nd consecutive U.S. Open. Larry Nelson playing it out. Playing it out rather well, too. He's a former Open champion, twice PGA champion.
He'll go ahead and finish out because obviously it looks like Curtis is going to be the champion. Didn't even clean his ball. Get in.
Makes the par. That's 5 over, 75 for the day, 4 over for the championship for Larry Nelson. There's his score, 68-73. You saw them.
Jim, after he won last year, he talked a lot about his father, Tom Strange, who died when Curtis was quite young, and how much it meant to him. This is Father's Day a year later. Of course, it took him 1 extra day. But now, this year, he's had a little time to think about it with the 2-stroke lead that he has. Maybe even sweeter.
There's Peter Jacobsen and Sarah Strange. You know, I got on the airplane to go home after last year's championship. I looked across the aisle, and the man sitting right across the aisle startled me. I thought it was Curtis. Of course, it was his twin brother on his way back home to Virginia. Identical twin. Sarah, there's breathing room.
Whether you think it was a good putt or not, it was a smart putt.
Okay, explain why.
Well, you've got to hit it. You've got to be by the hole, otherwise he has a chance of 4 putting.
Okay.
Now there's no way he's going to take any more than 2 putts from where he is.
He wants to come up at it.
He's got to come up the 2nd putt.
Notice he had another look at the scoreboard there just to double check that he was in fact a couple of strokes ahead.
Well, just to be sure what
Absolutely.
Simpson did at 17.
Absolutely.
Well, they're watching right now at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning in Japan and 11 o'clock tonight in London and many other places around the world. First bogey of the day, and he's the champion again.
Check that scoreboard again.
Well, there's no great jubilation yet. He's still a little concerned that perhaps he might have blown it, but I think he's going to be all right. Unless somebody holds their second shot, the 17th or the 18th.
A round of 70 for Curtis Strange, even par today. 1 birdie on 16, 1 bogey on 18. And the Cool Virginian, I think, is an appropriate name for this man. He's rock solid. That's the moment. Well, they're getting used to this embrace at the end of U.S. Opens, those two. They have 2 children. It's a great Father's Day again for Curtis Strange.
One of the other players there, Peter Jacobson. There's hugs all around here.
Yes. Now he must go in and check the scorecard. His responsibility that it is correct. You always recall, of course, Roberto De Vicenzo signing an improper scorecard at the Masters and missing an opportunity to tie for that title with Bob Goldberg. Whether he would have won the playoff or not, no one knows. Now Roger Twyble with Mark McCumber.
Thank you very much, Jim. Mark with a 1-under 69, 1-under for the championship. And Mark, you said you were hitting the ball great. You got off to a great start, but the putter didn't work early.
Roger, like most U.S. Opens, putting is quite a test on these greens, and today they got a little quicker. Hit the ball really close the first 3 holes and made pars. I missed about a 3-footer for birdie on 2 and 10-footers on 1 and 3, but held rock solid. I 3-putted 9 from about 30 feet, and 13 I had a turn of events. I thought the first putt was going to be very quick going down the hill. It stayed about 2.5 feet above the hole. I hit a putt that I'd like to hit it the same way again. This did a complete 360 on me, and that ends up being the difference.
You made good putts at 14 and 16. Then you came to the 18th, hit a good drive. Little question about which club you were going to hit. We heard you and your caddy discussing that.
Well, the 18th is a very severe hole. Maybe too severe for the length of the second shot. It's extremely hard hitting a long iron into that green. I was between 5 and 6. I felt that to maintain a chance to win the Open, I had to hit a club that just got to the front of the green and stayed below the hole. And even though I accomplished that, I still had a putt that was going to break 3 or 4 feet, and I just didn't read it properly.
And you were also concerned if you hit the putt where you had to hit it, you might have even a longer putt coming back.
Well, believe it or not, I was more concerned with making the putt because I wasn't worried about finishing second or third. I would have probably been a conservative 2-putt, except that I noticed that Curtis had already got to 3-under. I needed to get to 2. I thought I'd have a chance.
Well, Mark, nice playing. Congratulations on this year's Open. Okay, Mark McCumber, let's go back to Jim McKay.
Well done, Mark McCumber. Now, having awarded this championship to Curtis Strange, if Scott Simpson should put this ball in the hole, we would have a tie.
He's 170 yards, pretty shaky lie. He's going to have to play a real good shot to get it on the green. Of course, you never know.
Such things have happened. Hawaiian Open when Aoki put one in the hole from the fairway. Snatch victory.
Not going to get there.
Nope, nope. It's all over. Curtis Strange has won his second. Say it officially now. Finish with the scorecard.
We get it right here. The only thing right this second. Yeah, ABC. Okay,
At this moment, Jack, when you've won the Open, a bit of stunned stuff right now.
You're trying to collect yourself. You're trying to find out, where am I going next? What's going to happen to me now? Everybody's doing everything, but nobody really sits back and enjoys the moment.
Yeah.
He'll enjoy it later.
Later on tonight, huh?
Yes, he will.
And for quite a while. Tom Kite still laboring his way home. I'll try to forget about this day.
Good playing by some other people, though, too. I mean, Mark McCumber was able to chip back, and Ian Woosnam. Woosnam, I'm delighted for him. He came in fine style. And Flower he got through the championship at 280. That's 11 par, which is very Paul Azinger. Well, he finished 3 over, but some very good, strong stuff towards the end of play today, which will please many of them.
Among the leaders, Strange had an even par 70. Chip Beck had 68. Woosnam had 68. McCumber had 69. Those 3 under par. Scott Simpson, at the moment, is 4 over on today's round. Ryan Clark shot 69 to come in at even par. Subpar rounds for the day. Ballesteros at 69. Robert Wren also, as did D.A. Weibring, Brian Clark, and Mark McCumber. 68s. Steve Elkington of Australia, Hubert Green, Woozy, and Chip Beck. So, 9 rounds under par today. me take a look at all of the scores here. Al Sutton was in this championship for a while. Scott Taylor is the only club pro who made the cut. He played very well. Greg Norman there at 9 over. Aoki at 9 over. Larry Mize, former Masters champion. Davis Love, 9 over. Played well today. Joey Sindelar was a contender here for a while. He's from this area. Jack Nicklaus at 10 over. That's a collector's item for you. You haven't seen that too often in the United States Open Championship. Richard Sokol of Canada. Steve Pate, no kin to Jerry. Hale Irwin, twice winner of this competition. Bernhard Langer, who was right there tied for the lead on opening day. And it all came apart. Mark Calcavecchia thought he had a good chance when he came in here. David Graham, a former champion. Greg Lesher, the low amateur, the only amateur to make the cut. He finished at 16 over. There's Kurt Beck, no kin to Chip. But the only name that they'll be speaking tonight and tomorrow around the world of golf is this one, Curtis Strange, who has emulated one of the greatest ever to play the game, Ben Hogan, by winning 2 in a row. Not quite over. This is a live shot. This is Tom Kite. Hacking it in. Shot, however. Yeah, right, Peter.
And a happy day for Tom.
What do you say to yourself after a day like this, Peter?
Well, you must sort of wonder whether or not they're right. You just don't have the temperament or the feel, or the gods are against you. He seems to have everything to win this event, or a major event. He had a great chance, you remember, to win the British Open at St George's when Sandy Lowell won and came apart at the seams when the going got a bit tough, and yet he can go and win other tournaments, but perhaps the magic isn't there.
But both he and Scott Simpson are going to get standing ovations here. Again, it speaks for the people who follow the game of golf. That for a man who may shoot 79 today, huh? He's going to be coming downhill at it. If he can avoid it. Let him take a break. We'll be back to finish it up and for a word with the repeating champion, Curtis. Although 2 players still have not finished, it is official that Curtis Strange again is the United States Open golf champion. 1 stroke ahead of Chip Beck, Ian Woosnam of Wales, and Mark McCumber of Florida. Scott Simpson still playing there, and it appears he's going to probably bogey this hole. He's with Tom Kite. This for a par. Well, a fine way to finish. It's a round of 78 for Tom Kite. He finishes at 3 over for the championship. He couldn't quite grab the brass ring. 18 U.S. Opens. He's never won it. He's never won a major. And yet within the next year or so, he could be the leading money winner of all time. Trevino is still the only one to have played 4 rounds in the U.S. Open under 70. Scott Simpson, his bar. And he's got it. A round of 74. Well, excuse me, bogey, yes. 75 for him. He finishes at 1 over. And he tied for 6th place with Jumbo Ozaki of Japan, behind Strange, Chip Beck, Woosnam, McCumber, and Brian Clark did himself proud of this championship. And standing by with Roger Twibel, the winning team again, Curtis and Sarah.
Curtis and Sarah, congratulations to both of you. And Curtis, to repeat as champion, first man to do it since Ben Hogan did it in 50-51. That's something special.
Well, it is, Roger, but you know, to be quite honest, that's not what's upmost in my mind. I won the Open again, and I played so solid today, and you know, last year I did it for my dad and for all my friends everywhere around the world, but this year I did it for me and Sarah. I mean, I wanted it so bad. I wanted to play well and come in here and, you know, just be, you know, play solid, be a defender. There's so much pressure, and to come in and to win just means so much.
I know after Friday's round, your outstanding round on Friday, that we talked and I asked you about the Hogan situation and repeating again, and that was out of your mind. And you struggled on Saturday. You went to the practice range after that long day on Saturday. You made 34 consecutive holes without making a birdie. Did you ever run out of patience at any point in time during that span?
Roger, you have to remember we're at Oak Hill, #1, and we're playing in the U.S. Open #2. And when I went out today, the main thing that was in my mind was to play solid and stay in the hunt. I knew Tom was playing very well, but just stay close. And as it turned out, he made a triple on the front side somewhere, and then they're playing into my hands, I felt like, and I can par. I can make a lot of pars on the golf course, and that's what it ended up doing. I made the birdie at 16, which gave me a cushion, but I like having to make pars to win.
17 had been a difficult hole for you the first 3 days. You got through that in fine fashion. At 18, the putt went by, but we talked up here, that was probably your strategy, wasn't it?
Well, the key was on 18 was put it in the fairway. Yeah. Was don't get in any trouble. And it just so happened, I don't know, Roger, I seem to be struggling a little bit down there all day, a little bit. And the last four holes, I started to stripe it and play really well. And the key was hitting every fairway. And then at 18 to put it in the fairway, and now I just keep my wits and just put a good solid swing, which I did. And the first putt just put it by somewhere, so now I'm back up the hill. You know, you don't want to do anything stupid at that time.
All right. Let's bring Sarah in. Sarah, I know this last year was a long and fun year for both of you. Are you ready to go through it again as the Open champion?
You better believe it. We'll take this every year. We'll repeat as much as necessary. It was great.
Curtis, as you look at the way this tournament played, it was a long and difficult journey for you. You had the big round on Friday, which really got you going. But talk about today, the pressure. You're in the next to last group. Tom Kite's in the last group, and of course there was a lot of pressure and a lot of attention directed at Tom. Did you feel maybe a little bit more relaxed out there today than, say, if you were in that last group and everybody was looking at you as the repeat again?
I think you hit it on the head. I had, being 3 behind, I had everything to gain and not a whole lot to lose, really. I just felt like if I played solid and stayed close, there was a little bit of pressure off of me. I wanted to go out. I felt very good. I went on the practice yesterday and hit a lot of balls and got some kind of pattern going with my golf ball and went out, and I really wanted to play a good, solid round. I didn't want, you know, I went out there with a different type attitude, and I don't know why, it was my feeling inside. I wanted to go out and play a good round for me, you know, and for the Open. And whatever happened then. And I hit a couple good shots on the first hole, which are very, very important. And then just kind of went from there.
Well, you made some great par putts, and your first victory in the United States this year, the United States Open, your second in a row. Sarah, Curtis, congratulations.
Thanks.
Let's go back to Jim McKay. Jim.
Okay, well, Curtis, if you need another carrot on the end of that stick, now you can take a shot at Willie Anderson, who won 3 in a row. The only person ever to do it in 1903, 4, and 5. And others who have won consecutive Opens: Johnny McDermott, the first native-born American to win it, Bobby Jones, Ralph Gouldeau, Ben Hogan, now Curtis Strange. Nice going. Now down to Bob Rosberg with Tom Kite.
Tom, another heartbreak, but you know, even after you made the triple bogey at 5, you were still in command. And how did you feel?
Rossi, I tell you, I felt like I was really playing well today. To be honest, up until the 13th hole where I made the double there, I really felt like I was still going to win the golf tournament. I know this sounds crazy with the score I shot, but I felt more in control, at least through the first 12 holes, than I had at any other point throughout the golf tournament in my swing. The swing really felt good. I was driving it well, with the one exception of the 5th hole there, and you know, then all of a sudden I hit a pretty good drive on 13, ended up with a terrible line. Felt like my best play was the wood out of there, and obviously it wasn't, and that was basically the tournament for me.
Tom, what about the change to the cross-handed? It sort of deserted you at crucial times today.
Are you going to stay with that, or do you think you might go back?
No, I think I'll stay with it, Rossi. You know, it's a new thing for me, and certainly I expected to have some ups and downs with it. But you know, I can't say I putted poorly. It was certainly you know, missed a couple short putts there, and but I'm going to stick with it for a little while and see what happens. You know, this was such a freaky round of golf that I'm not going to really let that one round affect what I'm doing.
No, you can't let one round affect you, because you had a great championship, and I know we're all proud of you.
No, thank you, Rossi. I appreciate it.
Now let's go back up to Jim McKay.
Well, you just about never hear sour grapes from one of the golfers in this great sport anywhere around the world, and there was the sportsmanlike and realistic statement of Tom Kite. It's been quite a day, and we're not quite finished yet, because maybe you weren't here for the entire 4.5 hours. Maybe you'd like to see some of the high moments. Now, this was on the first hole where Tom Kite got a drop from casual water out of the rough and onto the fairway. This was his third shot, though, on the par 4. It was a tough way to start.
Come on.
Fine shot there, though. And he made that par. On the second hole, this putt for a birdie. And right here, it really looked, Peter, didn't it, like he was on his way?
Yes, it did. And I thought, we said at the time that was just the sort of thing that would keep him going. He suddenly found himself ahead of the field, looking good, in control, all the things he'd been working for. And now this was the one that really started, just a push tee shot into the water. Look at that. This started the troubles, into the water there.
Yep. And then he had to drop in the rough.
He eventually got on the green and then had 3 putts from virtually nowhere.
So this was his third shot after taking the penalty stroke from the lateral water hazard. Put it out on the fairway. It's sort of the only thing he could do at that point. But in a sense, the worst was yet to come on this hole.
Played a good pitch here because the flag was very close to the front of the green, and particularly intimidating when you're just pitching across the water. He played a nice bold shot that spun back.
So now he left himself a chance for a 5 there.
Still got a chance for a 5. And it was,
which would have been a bogey, but no permanent damage.
And he had looked a good putt. I thought it was in here. It just went on the low side.
Now this one you would think was just about automatic.
Well,
for the double bogey. But not so.
No. This must have been a body blow, really. An absolute body blow.
And even though Tom said he still felt in command up to the 13th hole, it didn't look that way from here on.
No, and you have to wonder whether he feels that there's perhaps just a little something missing in his temperament or whatever that just denies him victory in one of these great events. But he's still got a year or 2 left. And Scott Simpson was the same. He didn't play his usual cool and calm game. Looked good for a long time and then just tired towards the end.
But he still has to be considered something of the U.S. Open specialist, winning it 2 years ago. He was close last year, close again this year. Jumbo Ozaki at age 42 had the tournament of his career, I think, perhaps.
Yes, he was looking very good, and we said this morning that we were looking for perhaps at a Rocky story. Would we get a sort of golfing Rocky adventure? And we nearly did, until he this little putt was to put him at 2 under and tied for the lead.
There it was. No Japanese golfers ever won one of the 4 majors, but at this point it looked like he might. Now this is Curtis Strange at the 16th with that ball just against the collar after his tee shot. Didn't bother him. To this point, he had parred every hole today, had not had a birdie for 35 holes.
Anxious moments, weren't they? Anxious moments for the family.
Jack Nicklaus pointed out at this point that this was about as makeable and readable a putt as there is on the golf course, and so it was for Curtis.
Very important. As you must remember, playing towards the end of the field, the greens are getting a little chewed up. He came to the 18th with a couple of shots in hand, and this was a beautifully struck iron. He was a little bit unlucky not to get some spin and go back down the hill.
He had parred 17, where previously he had a double bogey, a bogey, and a bogey. And after that shot, he had it in his pocket.
Yeah. And as Jack was saying, this walk up here must be one of the great. It never happened to me, but I've seen many, many of these walks, including all of Jack's Open Championships in Britain, certainly. And it's a magic moment. You can't really describe it.
I would imagine when you think back on it, perhaps when he's going to sleep tonight, it may look like it's in slow motion, like right here. And you may hear that beautiful music.
That's right. I think you're in heaven.
Last year, the reaction was jumping for joy, and Sarah with immediate tears. This time it was a little, not calmer, but it was deeper somehow, wasn't it? So that's the way it ended in the U.S. Open. Let's go over again to Jack Whitaker and Jack Nicklaus.
Thank you, Jim. Well, Jack, you never won back-to-back Opens. You spread them over 4 decades, didn't you?
I spread them over a while, Jack.
Aside from Curtis's successful defense here, what do you think this will be remembered for?
Well, we had a week of very unusual weather, very un-open-like weather. Oak Hill has always been a great golf course, a difficult course. I think they had it primed. If we'd have had fast fairways and fast greens, you would have really seen a very high open score. The scoring conditions were very easy this week, and 2 under par won the tournament. So you know that Oak Hill was set up for it. The greens didn't have the total fire that they usually have, but they were still excellent. The golf course was in excellent condition. They did a great job of preparing it. It was very, very fair. Oak Hill still remains, in my thoughts, one of the great open golf courses.
Well, you sure called it when we were up to do the preview. It was going to be a man with patience, and Curtis certainly had that. Thank you, Jack. Good to be with you.
Thanks, Jack.
And we'll say goodbye here from the marvelous Oak Hill, which sustained more water than the Erie Canal ever pumped into Lake Erie.
The executive producer of the 89th U.S. Open Golf Championship is Jeffrey Mason. Today's golf was produced by Terry Jastro and Bob Goodrich, directed by Jim Jeanette and Andy Young. Our replay director was Bob Lanning, and the technical directors Werner Gunther, Gary Larkins, and Doug Schmidt. The associate producers, Jack Graham, Ben Harvey, and Jim Ressler, and the associate directors, Jaime Bravo and Dick Buffington. This week on ABC's Thursday Night Baseball, the Baltimore Orioles take on the California Angels, or Toronto meets Oakland. And Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, Dennis Andres defends his WBC light heavyweight crown against undefeated Jeff Harding of Australia, plus coverage of the mini marathon from New York City. Now stay tuned for your local news and World News Sunday over most of these ABC stations. Aerial camera facilities provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company.